Chapter 1950. The police's strong search for a whole day was still fruitless. Zheng Yun was quite confident in the hotels he investigated, so they did not retarget these five-star hotels. The current situation indeed made Qin Wan'er feel very relieved. Qin Wan'er knew that Xingkai Hotel could not be touched. Although the first time was fruitless, the second time was hard to say. Nothing could withstand repeated investigations. Su Yun left the hotel early. He wanted to see the police's actions today. Obviously, Su Yun was very satisfied with what the police were doing now. This was what Su Yun wanted. This kind of influence, this kind of exaggeration of Wen Zhao's situation, could completely change the atmosphere of the entire Xinjiang. This kind of influence would inevitably make the people of Jukai Group think about some problems, especially Yi Wenguang's desire for Wen Xiao to reach a peak. This way, his mood was bound to affect others. In fact, Su Yun's current situation was not so easy. Yesterday, he locked up the two people who wanted to kill him in a dog cage. This matter naturally would not be so easy to pass. The manager with glasses in Tiangong No. 1 did not receive a reply from his subordinates the whole night. No one answered his calls. His heart was beating fast the whole night. He finally could not bear the huge pressure. He called Zhao Honglong to his side and told him about yesterday's matter. Although Zhao Honglong was the deputy manager and was very satisfied with the manager's usual attitude, after hearing about this matter, he still could not hold back and flew into a rage. "You only told me about such a big matter after a whole night?" Zhao Honglong simply could not accept this fact. Then where the F***CK did he go? The manager with glasses still maintained his gentleness. "Along, I really did not expect things to be like this. It's just a guest. I arranged for two people to catch. What happened yesterday has already shown that we can't underestimate any guest," Zhao Honglong said coldly. "Moreover, this is someone who knows how to open our secret passageway. You are really careless. Find me the video immediately. I want to see what this person looks like." Zhao Honglong's actions were very clear. Once he identified the person, he immediately mobilized all his brothers to find him. He had to find the person in the shortest time possible. He couldn't let the big boss know about this. He had already fallen out of favor with the big boss. If he couldn't even handle such a small matter in the sauna center, it would be even more shameful. "This person must be found today. You are in charge of finding those two bastards for me. You can't even do such a small thing." Zhao Honglong gritted his teeth in hatred. "Tell them that if word of the hotel's mechanism gets out, I'll make them suffer." The manager with glasses smiled bitterly in his heart. He really felt that he would have to bear the consequences now. He hoped that Zhao Honglong could solve this matter as soon as possible. He must not let this matter reach the bosses. Once the bosses found out, he would definitely not be able to sit in his position. If the matter was really just about losing his position as manager, he wouldn't be so nervous. There was another thing that he was most afraid of because he knew too many secrets of Heavenly Palace 1. If his position was to be removed, he really didn't dare to say that he would be safe and sound. He obviously knew very well how ruthless the boss was. He really didn't dare to joke with his life. As Zhao Honglong said, he had to find the person. He had to. After finding the video surveillance of room 8 yesterday, they felt even more uncertain after watching it. This guest didn't do anything with their technician at all. He just asked the girl to dance, and his reaction was more like a person who came to find evidence. This was terrible. Who knew what was going on with this person? "Get this number 18 over here," Zhao Honglong said angrily. He absolutely couldn't tolerate this kind of thing happening, because they had clearly said that if the guest didn't come to enjoy the pleasure of looking for a woman to touch, then they must be very careful, because this kind of guest was very likely to have some other purpose, and this purpose was likely to harm their interests. When technician number 18 was brought in front of Zhao Honglong directly slapped her in the face. This was a real slap. This was also a rule. All the technicians in Heavenly Palace 1 understood this rule. If they wanted to make more money, they must adhere to this rule to death. If anyone dared to break the rule, then don't blame them for being ruthless. Tingting number 18 fell directly to the ground and cried bitterly. She realized yesterday that the mistake she made was likely to push her into an abyss that she would never be able to climb out of. But she really didn't expect this abyss to come so soon. Manager. I won't dare to do it again. I really won't. The girl's cry couldn't shake Zhao Honglong's compassion at all. In his eyes, this kind of girl was just a tool. The girls in Heavenly Palace 1 were all tools, a tool for men to do whatever they wanted. The guest you received yesterday had no intention of sleeping with you at all. Didn't you notice? Why didn't you tell us this in time? Zhao Honglong Dragon's fury couldn't restrain himself. I'm telling you. All of you know the rules here. If you dare to break the rules, then I must let you know the consequences of breaking the rules. I really didn't notice, Manager Zhao Brother Long. I beg you to give me a chance. I really won't dare to do it again. Zhao Honglong gritted his teeth. Give you a chance? Wouldn't everyone think that they had a chance to make a mistake? Impossible. The technicians in Heavenly Palace 1 never had a chance to make a mistake. I'm asking you now. Tell me the truth. Do you have any involvement with the person yesterday? If so, you still have a chance to save yourself now. Tell me where this person might be. In the process of your conversation, did you get any useful information from him? This was Zhao Honglong's purpose. No, the girl cried and said. I did ask, but he was always absent-minded and didn't give me any information. Zhao Honglong knew that no one would lie at this time, so he didn't say anything more. He just glanced at the bespectacled manager. You should know what to do. Deal with it according to the rules. I understand, Long. I won't be soft-hearted. The bespectacled man wasn't gentle at this time. If he didn't follow the rules and did the girl, then he would be the one to break the rules. The girl realized her situation and hid back in panic, until she moved to the corner. Manager, I beg you to give me a chance. I really will change. I really won't make a mistake again. I beg you, please don't kill me. I don't want a penny of commission in the future. Really, I don't want any more. Please give me a chance. The people in Heavenly Palace 1 don't have a chance to make a mistake. You should have heard this sentence many times on the first day you came here. The bespectacled manager didn't talk nonsense at all. He directly asked people to drag the girl away and kill the chicken to warn the monkey, to let the other technicians know the consequences of making a mistake. At this time, the girl had no chance to regret. She really should reflect on herself when she walked on this wrong path. It was so that she could easily get money and material things. It was so that she could become a high-income person without paying. Indeed, this way of doing things would make them feel happy and satisfied at the beginning. But they would lose the most important thing. What did life need? Life needed to be meaningful. If they didn't have any meaning and became a walking corpse like them, it was really no different from a dead person. Regretting it now? Unfortunately, it was too late. No girl here would have a good ending in the end. In other words, the girls who walked on this line of work wouldn't have a good ending in the end. They were secretly dealt with by the boss, deceived and killed by the customers, and accidentally died because of an illness. There were many of them. Even if they were lucky enough to survive, so what? They were very likely to never have children in their lives and live in a kind of shadow for the rest of their lives. That kind of mental pain might make a person live in a shadow for the rest of their lives. If it was like this, it seemed that those who died were luckier. At least they didn't need to endure a lifetime of psychological torture. You only have one life, and you really can't take the wrong path. Once you set foot on some paths that you know are abyss, you can never turn back. The opportunity in life is different from the opportunity of anything. This thing only has one chance. Everyone is fair, and only once. If you choose wrong, you can't blame anyone. Chapter 1951. Zhao Honglong mobilized everyone to start tracking Su Yun. Because Su Yun's car was recorded in their parking lot, their people had already started to look for the car all over Xinjiang. But Su Yun had already driven the car into a parking lot and didn't move, so it wasn't easy for them to find Su Yun's whereabouts. After all, no one in Tiangong No. 1 really had the ability to get the surveillance video from the traffic police brigade. They didn't have the connections, and they didn't have the identity and ability. The bosses had the identity and ability, And they also had the connections, but they didn't dare to tell the bosses about this. The refined bespectacled man and Zhao Honglong both had their own worries. This allowed Su Yin to continue to wander freely on the streets of Xinjiang, driving Yi Fala's car. Su Yin changed his wig and wore a pair of black-rimmed glasses. He looked like a southern boss with a bit of stinginess in his shrewdness. It was just that his body was slightly stronger. Fortunately, his muscles were covered by his clothes. Su Yin still swaggered on the streets of Xinjiang. Looking at the armed special police's combat-ready state, it was really interesting. Zhao Honglong's group of people who came out to track the whereabouts of Su Yin was also dumbfounded. They really couldn't believe that Xinjiang had become like this overnight. Were these people really prepared to catch Wen Xiao? Zhao Honglong was still very shocked. This Wen Xiao was really bad *SS. The situation was so dangerous, and he still dared to come to the sauna center for fun. Then again, so many police officers couldn't catch him alone. This Wen Xiao really made Zhao Honglong feel some admiration in his heart. This courage was really extraordinary. If it were him, Zhao Honglong felt that it would be impossible for him to escape such a degree of search. Second boss still values this guy so much. Just look at the situation now. If the police don't catch him, then they definitely won't give up. Zhao Honglong thought, probably they couldn't swagger around outside these few days. Who knew if the police would catch them by chance? Zhao Honglong didn't dare to let the police take him to the police station easily. People with his identity couldn't withstand the police's investigation. Once they found out, something would happen. Therefore, Zhao Honglong really didn't dare to shake it. After returning to Heavenly Palace one anxiously, Zhao Honglong was more or less in a daze. His mind was filled with Wen Xiao's matter. He still could not understand the fight with Wen Xiao yesterday, because Wen Xiao was still able to contend with Aku even after he had exhausted all his strength. This made Zhao Honglong puzzled because if Wen Xiao still had the energy, it was possible for him to directly kill him at that time. But why didn't he do so? Could it be that although his mouth was tough and his fists were tough, he was still worried that he would cause trouble? With these doubts in mind, Zhao Honglong took a deep puff of his cigarette. Sitting in the office with him, the manager with glasses was also smoking. At this moment, the manager with glasses was very sad. Compared to Zhao Honglong's absent-mindedness, he was even more uneasy. Suddenly, the phone rang, startling both of them. When the manager with glasses saw that his phone showed the number of the big boss, his mind went completely blank. Did the big boss already know everything? Was he going to suffer all the punishment today? Big boss. When the man with glasses picked up the phone, he was very guilty. All services in the sauna center have been cancelled for the next few days. Yi Wenyang's words had always been very simple and clear. He directly instructed, the police are arresting people during this period of time. The operation may be more serious, and it will definitely affect us. Be careful but don't panic. The man with glasses was stunned. It turned out that it was a reminder for him. Yes, big boss, I will be careful. As he spoke, his heart was pounding. Should he take the initiative to report what was happening now? After a struggle in his heart, he chose to remain silent. It was better not to say anything. Even if he took the initiative to report the trouble, the big boss was not the kind of person who would forgive his mistakes. The man with glasses knew that the big boss had always been concise. If there were no other instructions, he would hang up quickly. But this time, the big boss did not hang up directly. Instead, he fell into silence for more than 10 seconds. During this time, the man with glasses could only wait silently. He did not dare to hang up the boss's phone first. Next to the man with glasses, Zhao Honglong was also nervous. He had been listening to the voice on the phone, afraid that the big boss would suddenly fly into a rage. There is one more thing I need you to tell him. Yi Wenyang thought for a while and said, help me inform Along, tell him to get ready to leave the sauna center first. At 10 o'clock tonight, go directly to the dock where we receive the goods and have a look. Come to the group tomorrow morning, and report the situation at the dock now. When Yi Wenyang finished speaking, Zhao Honglong was so excited that he almost jumped up. He really didn't expect that the big boss would trust him at this juncture. He knew too well what it meant for him to leave the sauna center. He could finally be free and get rid of this damn place. He could finally go to a bigger stage to show his ability. Zhao Honglong did not care about anything else. He grabbed the phone from the man with glasses and said, "Big boss. You can rest assured. I will never let you down this time. I will complete all the tasks you give me. I will definitely do a good job." Yuan Yang was slightly startled. He did not expect that the two of them would be together at this time. It should be known that Heavenly Palace 1 officially opened after 6 o'clock in the evening. During the time Zhao Honglong was in Heavenly Palace 1, he basically slept during the day. His activity time was at night. Since you are here, that's even better. You heard what I said, right? Remember to be careful at night. Yuan Yang's voice was still calm. Along, I am giving you a chance. You should understand what I mean. Do a good job. Big boss, I promise. Zhao Honglong felt as if he had been reborn. He really needed this kind of encouragement. After Yuan Yang hung up the phone, Zhao Honglong was so excited that he wanted to punch the man in glasses. The man in glasses didn't think much about it. He greeted Zhao Honglong's fist with his own fist, which almost fractured his bones. Along, don't forget your brother in the future. The man with glasses endured the pain in his fist. Zhao Honglong patted his chest. Don't worry, I Zhao Honglong, I'm not that kind of person. By the way, you still have to continue investigating the guest in room 8 yesterday. You must not relax your vigilance. You can rest assured that I will not talk nonsense to the big boss. As long as you need my help, inform me immediately. I will not hold back. With Zhao Honglong's words, the man with glasses was relieved. He was almost moved to tears. Along, you are really my good brother. You can rest assured that I will not take this matter lightly. I will solve it as soon as possible. Since there is nothing else, I will go and pack up first. You go and tell Mommy-chan to take all the technicians to a safe place. Treat it as a vacation. Don't make any mistakes in these few days. Zhao Honglong said. I will be there to listen to the news. Once the big boss thinks that the limelight is over, I will call you immediately and inform you that everything is back to normal. Good. You must be careful, brother. The man with glasses finally said with concern. Zhao Honglong went to pack up his things. The man with glasses was not idle. He immediately ordered his men to replace all the warm red light bulbs in the sauna center with white light sources. This should be an open secret in the industry. If the red light was not on, it was equivalent to not being open. Everything in Tiangong number 1 was going on step by step. After the man with glasses went to inform Mommy-chan, the leader of the technicians, Mommy-chan quickly contacted a safe place outside that could provide a temporary place for her and her girls to stay for a short time. After everything was confirmed, all the technicians packed up their things and left in batches by taxis. In fact, this break was good news for all the technicians. At least they could calm themselves down a little. The incident of number 18 Tingting really stimulated a lot of people. Some of them calmly accepted the result in silence. Some of them were really shocked. They couldn't believe that a living person was gone just like that. No one knew how she was dealt with. But they knew in their hearts that number 18's end must be very miserable. This was because when several technicians were serving Zhao Honglong, who had drunk too much, they heard a very scary piece of news. That was Jutsai Group was involved in the business of human organs. And they even smuggled them abroad after obtaining them. It was said that this was a super profitable business. As for where the organs were obtained, it was unknown. But these technicians who knew about this were very worried. They were worried that number 18's organs would also be. Oh, they really didn't dare to think about it. Chapter 1952. Everything happened in one day, and the whole situation changed drastically. When Xiao did think about going out for a walk, but looking out of the hotel room's glass, he quickly realized the seriousness of the matter when he saw the special police officers everywhere on the road. In this situation, when Xiao had no other choice, other than hiding, he could only hide. Going out now? He wasn't that stupid. There were indeed some freeloaders in the police force, but there were also many highly professional people. There would definitely be people who could see through his disguise. Xinjiang had a population of tens of millions, but it was only the size of a palm. If the police really wanted to dig 3 feet into the ground to find a person, It wouldn't be too difficult. Moreover, if Wen Xiao was discovered hiding in a certain area, then the danger of him being exposed would be even greater. At this time, the police station had already held an emergency meeting. The contents of the meeting were very clear. They couldn't cast a net to catch fish. They had to cover the entire Xinjiang. They couldn't miss any corner. They had to use a carpet search to search. Qin began to assign tasks. She personally led a group of people to search all the hotels in Xinjiang City. Zhang Guoping led people to search all the entertainment and leisure clubs in Xinjiang City. Zheng Yun was responsible for leading people to search all the office buildings in Xinjiang City and other places where people could hide. Then, the complex terrain of the shanty areas and some old residential areas where outsiders lived, as well as several large commercial areas in Xinjiang City, were handed over to the Special Police Detachment. There were many outsiders and it was difficult to control the situation at the scene when something happened. It was also difficult to ensure the safety of the hostages at the scene. As for the armed police, they were still responsible for controlling all the traffic in and out of Xinjiang City. Everyone entering and leaving Xinjiang City had to be carefully checked. The hardest place to do this was the train station. There were many trains. It was faster than a car and more convenient than a plane. Naturally, it was the first choice of many people. Therefore, this place was heavily guarded by the armed police. People entering and leaving Xinjiang City were also very nervous. I've already searched all the 5-star hotels in the city. There's no need to waste energy on them. When Zheng Yun heard that Qin Wan was in charge of the hotel accommodation, he was a little unhappy. Hotels and leisure clubs were the most likely places to catch people, while office buildings and other places were the least likely places to hide. Qin Wan's intention seemed to be a bit too obvious. Finding Wen Zhao's trace would definitely be a great merit. She arranged a place that was least likely to be found by him, and a place that was most likely to be found by herself. It was obvious that she wanted to take the last bit of the merit into her own arms. Deputy Director Qin, even a piece of bone is not easy to chew, but you can't just throw the hardest and flakiest part to me, right? Zheng Yun said. Besides, I searched the hotel from the beginning. Everyone knows that the hotel is the most likely place to find clues. All right, there's no need for us to argue over this issue. Everyone is a team. Our bureau is responsible for looking for clues in the entire operation. No matter who finds it, it's the result of our joint efforts. Zhang Guoping hurriedly stepped forward and said, Don't hurt the harmony because of this small matter. It's not necessary, really not necessary. Zheng Yun said, Director Zhang, I really don't mean anything else. I just feel that Deputy Director Qin seems to have some other ideas. Qin Wan had been suppressing her emotions. She really didn't want to argue with Zheng Yun about these things. It was boring, really boring. Zheng Yun, you can investigate whatever place you want to investigate. That should be fine, right? You pick out the hardest bone and I'll chew on it. Qin Wan was very angry. She wanted to arrange the hotel for herself, because if she met Wen Xiao when she was investigating the hotel, she could find a way to fool him. But if Zheng Yun had objected at the beginning, she wouldn't have forced him. That would only affect everyone's mood. Little Qin, don't be angry. Calm down. I know that all of you are under a lot of pressure and want to catch people as soon as possible, but don't be anxious. Don't be impatient. After comforting Qin Wan, Zhang Guoping took Zheng Yun out of the room. Zheng Yun was confused, but because of Zhang Guoping's age, he couldn't say anything. He could only follow Zhang Guoping out of the room. As soon as they came out, Zheng Yun complained. Director Zhang, what do you think this is? She wants to take the credit. So she pushed us to those places that don't have any credit. She's too scheming, isn't she? Zhang Guoping glared at Zheng Yun and signaled him to be quiet. Then he tried his best to calm Zheng Yun's emotions. Little Zheng, do you really think this is a credit? Yes, indeed. I also admit that this is definitely a great credit. If you can catch Wen Xiao, the city leaders will definitely look at you in a different light. The position of director will basically be in your bag. Zheng Yun nodded vigorously. He thought so too. This was a good opportunity. Whoever could catch Wen Xiao would definitely be promoted to the position of bureau chief. But have you ever thought about what you need to exchange for this credit? Zhang Guoping lowered his voice and said, You need to exchange it with your life. Zheng Yin was stunned by these words. After swallowing a mouthful of saliva, he also realized that Zhang Guoping was right. This credit had to be exchanged with one's life. To be able to obtain state secrets, how capable is this guy? Do you think he can get it? I've lived to this age, but I still can't believe that someone can have this ability. Zhang Guoping said, I'm really not joking. It's hard to say if you can catch this kind of person even if you risk your life. Think about it, he's already a trapped beast. If you find him, what will the consequences be? Even if he dies, he will definitely bite one of his companions to death. Hearing this, Zheng Yun's back broke out in cold sweat. This was indeed something he didn't dare to think about. What kind of person was Wen Xiao? Wen Xiao was an S-class wanted criminal. This kind of person was extremely vicious. After being caught, he would be sentenced to death. He would be shot by the country. If such a person was forced into a desperate situation, he would do anything. Su Yin swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He really didn't dare to think about it. If he confronted Wen Xiao, wouldn't Wen Xiao eat him alive? You need to think carefully. Is this an opportunity to make a contribution or a matter of life and death? Zhang Guoping said, Isn't it a good thing to let you search for those impossible places? Little Zhang, you are still young. Your future is limitless. You really don't need to gamble with your life. There will be more opportunities in the future. Zheng Yin frowned. Zhang Guoping was right. He still had a lot of opportunities. It was really not worth it to lose his life because of this. Think about it carefully. Then you can fight for those things. Zhang Guoping said, You are different from Qin Waner. She has to rely on herself to go up step by step, so she has to gamble with her life. But you are different. If she loses this time, the person who wins in the end is still you. Zheng Yin understood what Zhang Guoping meant. If Qin Waner lost, it meant that she would face death. If Qin Waner died, no one in the police station could compete with him. How could this not be a good thing? Letting Qin Waner go to the most dangerous places and do the most dangerous things. She couldn't always have a good life, right? She would always make mistakes, wouldn't she? What's more, she had to face a dangerous guy like Wen Xiao. The chances of her surviving were almost slim. Yes, this was a good idea. If Qin Waner did those things, she wouldn't win at all. Zhang Guoping, you are still thinking about it. Zheng Yin said, Thank you very much. Otherwise, I would really be stupid to rob and do such meaningless things. Zhang Guoping motioned him to lower his voice. Little Zheng, I have faith in you. You can't talk about this casually. I understand, Zhang Guoping. Don't worry. I will remember your kindness to me in my heart. Zheng Yin said, I definitely won't be stupid enough to say whatever you said to me. I'll definitely keep my mouth shut. Don't worry. That's good. Zhang Guoping said, You must think clearly. Don't do anything stupid. Just follow little Qin at any time. There is really no need to compete. You are not at the same level as her, understand? You don't need those superficial things. Yes, I understand. Zheng Yin nodded. Chapter 1953. After Zheng Yin returned to the conference room, he no longer argued with Qin Waner. He said indifferently, Okay, Deputy Director Qin, whatever you say is right. Whatever you say is right. From today on, all of our batons will be handed over to you. You are a master of solving cases. You have experience and ability. We will listen to you. No one can have any objection. If anyone has an objection, please apply to me first. I will fully support you. Zheng Yun's sudden change of attitude really made Qin Waner unable to accept it. She was very surprised. She did not know what Zhang Guoping said to Zheng Yun that could make Zheng Yun's attitude suddenly change 180 degrees. Incredible, really incredible. Qin Waner looked at Zhang Guoping with doubts. Zhang Guoping quietly gave Qin Waner a look, as if to tell Qin Waner not to worry. What Zheng Yun said was true. She could completely use her authority to assign tasks to anyone. No matter who it was, they could never treat her orders as nothing. And Zheng Yin would absolutely cooperate with all her decisions. From his tone, Qin Wan'er could tell that Zheng Yin was not being sarcastic. It sounded like he was just stating a fact. It was a very calm statement with a very good attitude. Little Qin, since Zheng Yin said so, you can rest assured. We will fully support your work. No matter when, as long as you arrange it, we will complete it with a 100% attitude. Zhang Guoping said. I will search every corner of all the entertainment venues in Xinjiang City. I will never let go of any suspicious person. Qin Wan'er was very grateful to Zhang Guoping. Deputy Director Zhang, thank you for your hard work. Once you find any abnormalities, remember not to act rashly. We must immediately contact the special police and the armed police for support. Wen Xiao is an S-class wanted criminal. He is different from ordinary people, so we must not act rashly. You can rest assured. I still cherish my old bones. Zhang Guoping smiled slightly. I am worried about you. You are young and impetuous. Don't be impulsive. Remember, impulsiveness is the devil. If you don't want this devil to control you to do things that you regret, then you have to control your emotions. Chief Zhang, we're no longer the hotheads who just arrived at the police station. We know very well what we should be calm about, and what we need to restrain our impulses. Don't worry about that. Qin Wan'er promised. I will be careful. Zheng Yin smiled and said to Qin Wan, we may have had some conflicts before, but we are all serving the people. Today, I, Zheng Yin, promise you that I will complete the mission seriously and carefully. If I find any suspicious people, even if I have to risk my life, I will control the wanted criminals and bring them to the various departments for support. Although Zheng Yin spoke seriously, Qin Wan'er still did not want to communicate with him. That's right. It's all about serving the people. Then let's start moving. Be mentally prepared. Don't let your legs go soft. Zhang Guoping said. This will be the most troublesome matter that the Xinjiang police force has ever encountered. We have a heavy responsibility. The winner takes it all. I don't want to be stripped of my uniform because of this matter before I retire. Chief Zhang, as long as our Deputy Bureau Chief Qin is here, it won't be easy for you to take off your uniform. Zheng Yin said. I believe that Deputy Bureau Chief Qin will lead us to catch the person. There is no criminal in the world who can stop Deputy Bureau Chief Qin. Qin Wan'er did not like to listen to these false compliments. Whether Zheng Yin really wanted to reconcile with her or not, she did not want to listen to these words. Time waits for no one. The city leader gave us 10 days. We will start moving now. Let's go. This was the normal Qin Wan'er. She was swift and decisive. She never did things sloppily. She did what she wanted to do. She was absolutely not vague. Qin Wan'er thought it through. She realized that she should not go on like this. If she continued to be like this, someone would definitely notice that something was wrong. Instead, it was better to show her usual self. Because Qin Wan'er believed that Wen Xiao was not an idiot. Since he knew that she was an undercover of the police who did not know the truth, he should disguise himself better. It was still a problem whether she could find him. Even if she could find him, she would think of a way. There was always a way out. It was better than her being like this now. She had not done anything, but she had already lost in a trance. It was because Qin Wan'er had thought it through that she gave all these orders without any scruples. She knew that she still had a lot of initiative. She could carefully search any place. She could only go easy on Xinkai Hotel. Life depended on acting skills. Many times, people's honesty and straightforwardness were useless and meaningless. On the contrary, disguises and cover-ups would become the best weapons. Seeing Qin Wan'er hurriedly leave with the people, Zheng Yun's heart was very comfortable. He breathed a sigh of relief. Go Qin Wan'er, use your hot blood to fight for your credit. I will not fight for it. It is meaningless. There was a saying that went, where there is life, there is hope. Zheng Yun had a green mountain behind him. What was he afraid of? Did he really care about such a merit? He really did not care. This merit was not even as useful as a good word from a leader. Qin Wan'er was willing to risk her life. That was Qin Wan'er's business. It had nothing to do with him. He would not risk his life for such a promotion opportunity. If it did not work, he would lose his life. But he could fight in a way that was not dangerous. The result would be the same. Little Zheng, let's get ready to go. Even if it is just for show, we have to make it real, Zhang Guoping said. You can't miss a single office building. Even if it is a pit in the bathroom, you have to make sure that no one can hide. Zhang Guoping, don't worry. I will definitely search every corner. Zheng Yin said. You too. You must not miss a single place. Zhang Guoping smiled slightly and whispered, I really can't investigate too carefully. If I am too careful, it is easy to get into trouble. These entertainment places, which one of them does not have a trace of contact with the leaders? We are just small policemen. This kind of thing really can't offend people too much. Zhang Guoping, you are so thoughtful. It seems that the one you are in charge of is the most difficult. I really admire you more and more. Zheng Yin really did not dare to believe that Zhang Guoping actually had so many ideas. But this was also very strange. Such a person with such ideas and such a good scheming person. How could he not be promoted in the end? Perhaps the current society was like this. No one dared to guarantee anything. No one dared to say that they would be able to sit firmly in a position and would never fall down. Although Zhang Guoping was very proficient in the ways of the career, his opponent at that time might have been stronger than him. So in the end he did not succeed. In a person's life, there were many times when it depended on luck. It really did not depend on strength or background. A person's success was really due to many aspects. And luck was definitely an indispensable factor. Zheng Yin felt that this matter was an opportunity for him. As long as luck was on his side, he would be able to obtain the final victory. Of course, his luck had nothing to do with him. His luck was that Qin Wan'er would be unlucky. As long as Qin Wan'er met the abnormal S-level Wen Xiao, then it would bode ill rather than well. This was Zheng Yin's opportunity. Perhaps he was thinking too much and too far. Zheng Yin could not help but laugh out loud. After Zhang Guoping, who was leading the team, heard the sound, he also looked back. He thought to himself, this kind of impetuous person could not make any contributions at all as a policeman. As long as this kind of person did not cause trouble, it would be the best help to the police station. After Qin Wan'er and Zhang Guoping left with their own teams, Zheng Yin also quickly left with his people. He said that he was going to check the office building. In fact, he was going to wander around and say some shocking things. He told people not to drive out alone at night. This was very likely to be targeted by Wen Xiao. Even Zheng Yin himself felt like a nurse in a welfare house. He said the same things to everyone he saw, just to have a better angle to take pictures of him doing welfare. Chapter 1954. The real danger was basically Qin Wan. Even Zhang Guoping knew that. Any criminal wanted in the country would not be in the mood to go to an entertainment place for entertainment, right? Unless he was really arrogant and did not have any sense of crisis. Zhang Guoping believed that such a person could not exist in this world. He would rather believe that Wen Xiao was hiding in the bathroom of an office building than believe that Wen Xiao would be relaxing in an entertainment club. Qin Wan'er arranged him to be on such a search route. It seemed that she was deliberately taking care of him. Zhang Guoping was very grateful for that. He did not want anything to happen to Qin Wan'er. The reason why he said those things to Zheng Yin was that he hoped that they could put aside their conflicts temporarily. Otherwise, if they talked about things with such conflicts, it would be impossible to reach an agreement. After calming down Zheng Yin, Zhang Guoping also caught up with Qin Wan'er before she left with the team. He reminded Qin Wan'er again to be careful and not to act rashly. He repeatedly warned Qin Wan. When he saw Qin Wan'er nodding seriously and listening to him, he was relieved. Director Zhang, you also have to be careful. Although I think the possibility of Wen Xiao being in an entertainment place is almost zero, such a dangerous person really can't rule out the possibility of him being anywhere. Qin Wan'er kindly reminded him, don't be careless. Don't worry, little Qin. I am very afraid of death. Ah, Zhang Guoping said with a smile, trying to relax the atmosphere as much as possible. After all, it was not only the 3 deputy directors who were nervous now. From top to bottom, all the leaders and basic staff in the police station were very nervous, especially those who were assigned to follow the search team. They were even more nervous. Zhang Guoping was very experienced. He knew when to say what to relax everyone. Qin Wan'er Really felt that having an experienced person in this game was like having a treasure. Without Zhang Guoping, her relationship with Zheng Yun would be absolutely impossible. Moreover, it was impossible for her to make the staff relax before the task began. All these things were a terrible test for everyone, but for Qin it was a test of her acting skills. This test made Qin more uncomfortable than a life and death test. Fortunately, Qin did not need to pretend to be nervous. She was really nervous, but her nervousness was different from others. Others were nervous about whether or not they would meet Wen Xiao face to face. But Qin was nervous about what she would do if she met Wen Xiao face to face. She had already prepared for the worst. If she really accidentally came into direct contact with Wen Xiao, even if she had to resort to the ruse of injuring herself, she would still let Wen Xiao escape. Even if Wen Xiao were to injure her, she would still make sure that everything was done flawlessly. But she and Wen Xiao really didn't have a tacit understanding. They had never worked together before. Who knew if Wen Xiao would be able to understand all of this when the time came? If he didn't, then it would be troublesome. There were too many uncertain factors that made Qin so nervous that her heart was in her throat. Chief Qin, I think you're really nervous this time. Is this Wen Xiao really that scary? After getting on the bus, someone raised his doubts. Everyone could feel Qin nervousness. She nodded and said, "That's right. I am very nervous. Wen Xiao is too dangerous. I'm worried about our colleagues because everyone's life is in danger. Everyone is clear about Wen Xiao's current situation, right?" When everyone heard Qin say that it was so serious, some slightly arrogant people couldn't help but swallow their saliva. The armed police force has already controlled all the exits in Xinjiang. Whether it's the sky, the ground, or even the sea, there is no way out for Wen Xiao to escape. Qin said, "Wen Xiao is now a trapped beast. He will face the biggest crisis of his life, so he will definitely explode. He is already a very dangerous person. If he explodes, it will be impossible to control him." Phew! Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. This sounded like a really scary thing. Wen Xiao is an S-class wanted criminal who stole state secrets. We have the right to kill him directly. This is a mission from the top. No matter if he is dead or alive, we have to catch him. We can't let him escape. Qin said, "But we are the police. We are not bloodthirsty demons. Unless Wen Xiao's actions affect the lives of us, our colleagues, and innocent people, then we will shoot him." After a pause, Qin continued, "Obviously, Wen Xiao knows how serious his crime is. He knows that if he is caught, it is equivalent to death. Think about it from another perspective. If it was you, what would you do? If you were such a criminal, would you go crazy? If it was me, I would definitely go crazy. I would do whatever it takes to catch me." Halfway through his sentence, the person who spoke lowered his head and said, "If I don't resist, I will die. If I resist, there may be a glimmer of hope. This kind of criminal is the hardest to control. He doesn't have any psychological weakness." Qin nodded and said, "That's right. He doesn't have any psychological weakness. His desire to kill will be very serious. So I only have one request for everyone. Without my orders, don't do anything on your own. Listen to my arrangements." Everyone nodded. This was a must. They had to listen to their leader's arrangements. "I promise that I will share any danger with you. I won't let you be in danger." Qin said, "I know that some of you already have children. Some of you are the only child. Some of you have just gotten engaged with your loved ones. Some of you have just held your grandsons. Don't worry. With me here, I will not let you be in danger." Qin could make so many people believe in her wholeheartedly because of this. Too many people trusted her. Too many people believed that she could bring them a sense of security. And Qin did it. She did it every time. Before all the dangerous things, she would always be the first one to take it. Everyone's trust in her was accumulated over time. It was not something that could be gained once or twice. Qin as long as you are here, we have nothing to fear. Qin don't just talk about us. You are also the same. Your safety is very important to all of us. That's right. Qin you are as important as our family. Facing these words from her colleagues, Qin Wan was a little embarrassed. She really didn't know what danger she could be in to catch Wen Xiao, who was an undercover. She made the atmosphere so serious because she hoped that everyone would hide when they saw Wen Xiao, and not force him. If they forced him, she really couldn't guarantee that Wen Xiao would not hurt people. So now she needed to make the danger more serious. The police were also human. They would also have some worries. After all, they were not the kind of profession that risked their lives to fight. The kind of police who had the guts to risk their lives had already taken the SWAT test. People in the SWAT team could risk their lives. It was normal for them to risk their lives. But these police were not. Most of them still hoped that they could live a stable life. They also regarded their work as a normal and stable job. Even people like Qin Wan, who put work first, were very few. In other words, although work was important and the public security career was great, it was only a part of their life. It was not everything. They loved their job and their public security career. But compared to their lives and their families, they loved the latter more. Because they were all human, normal people. Normal people would have normal selfishness. Okay, we all know the danger of this mission, so I hope that we can all cheer up. Qin Wan said. We are ready to go now. Remember, listen to my arrangements. I won't put anyone in danger. I really won't. Qin Wan, we believe in you. As the car started, the team led by Qin Wan directly drove out of the police station. The second team led by Zhang Guoping followed closely behind. Most of the entertainment venues were not open at all. The only places that could be checked now were probably the KTVs. The third team led by Zheng Yun also drove out of the police station. They didn't even set the most basic route. In Zheng Yun's words, they just had to rely on their intuition. They would shoot wherever they went because they had no possibility of hitting the target. In fact, this was the best. They didn't have any pressure. Plus, they were all close to Zheng Yun. They also hoped that they could complete this mission easily. There was no one in this world who liked danger. Chapter 1955. At first, Qin Wan tried to say that their investigation could exclude the 5-star hotels that Zheng Yun had investigated yesterday. However, before she could open her mouth, someone had already put forward his own opinion. He said that the places that Zheng Yun had investigated could not be counted at all. It was very likely that they would just throw him 2 packs of cigarettes and let it go. This kind of situation used to be normal in the police station. It was not that these hotels were deliberately covering up criminals. They would not believe that criminals were in their places. They just felt that once the police were there to handle the case, it would affect other guests. If word got out, it would also damage their reputation. This was the difference between Huaxia people and foreigners. If it was a foreigner, he would definitely be very cooperative with the police. If the police wanted to catch bad guys, even if they had to blow up their walls, they would still support it. However, this was definitely not the case in Huaxia. If you damaged other people's things to catch criminals, they would definitely charge you several times the price. Zheng Yun was not serious in his work. He was vague and used to turning a blind eye to many things. This was recognized by the whole police station. Therefore, when someone put forward this point, everyone agreed. They all thought that the places that Zheng Yun had investigated needed to be searched again. Qin Wan could actually feel that everyone really had a kind of hope. They hoped that they could find something unusual in the places that Zheng Yun had investigated. In fact, they just wanted to show Zheng Yun who was the boss. Recently, Zheng Yun was really very powerful in the station. He liked to criticize people, scold people's attitude, and roar in all kinds of ways. As long as it was someone who did not support him, as long as it was someone who usually stood on Qin Wan's side, Zheng Yun would always find all kinds of reasons to scold them. Therefore, these people definitely did not like Zheng Yun. Therefore, if they had a chance to challenge Zheng Yun, they would definitely seize it. I know what everyone is thinking, but our work is work. Don't be emotional. It will affect you. Qin Wan said, the places that Zheng Yun has investigated, we will pretend that we have not investigated. We will investigate again one by one. But don't be emotional. Don't do something with a subjective attitude. Commissioner Qin, don't worry. We will not do things with emotions. Everyone replied. People's emotions were the hardest thing to control. Qin Wan'er couldn't let her team be controlled by their emotions. That would be very difficult for her. She only dared to bring people to Xingkai Hotel to investigate after she calmed down. Let's go with the nearest hotel. From east to west. We'll check them one by one. Qin Wan'er directly targeted the 5-star Intercontinental Hotel. Zheng Yin had inspected the hotel yesterday. Therefore, when they entered the hotel for inspection, Qin Wan'er could see that many people were still in a bad mood. The hotel manager kept saying things like, "I already talked to Director Zheng yesterday. Why do you still want to inspect today?" When these people heard these words, their emotions would be quite serious. Not only would they have to check again, but they would also have to enter the rooms one by one. The hotel's main and back doors would be sealed. Even the cabinets in the guest rooms would be opened for investigation. It was such a big hotel with a few hundred rooms. It was really tiring to check all the rooms in one go. There was nothing the hotel could do except follow the police. The manager couldn't do anything. They had a search warrant. It was a formal search. Moreover, even if you called to ask for help from the city leaders, you wouldn't get any concessions. The city leaders would only say, "If you want to investigate, you have to investigate carefully. Cooperate with the police." Just like that, there was nothing they could do. As the saying goes, the county magistrate was not as good as the person in charge. Yesterday, Director Zheng Yin was easy to talk to. He just symbolically checked a few rooms, and then the matter was over. However, the atmosphere today was really different. Even Director Qin, who came to check today, seemed to be a little unable to control the emotions of the people at the scene. These people seemed to be certain that the wanted criminal was in their hotel. They really didn't know how they offended people. The hotel manager could only laugh and cry. After a careful investigation, everyone's emotions were vented and soothed. Qin Wan'er and the hotel manager talked for a while, then left with people. As soon as they left the hotel, Qin Wan'er immediately explained the situation just now. She very clearly made a few requests to a few colleagues who were in a bad mood. Fortunately, this hotel allowed them to vent their negative emotions. It was really a lot better. In a while, no one can lose control of their emotions. If you lose control of your emotions, leave immediately. Go back to the station or go home. Make your choice. Qin Wan'er's tone was very firm. She didn't allow anyone to refute. During the next 2 hotel inspections, everyone's emotions were obviously controlled. Even if the managers still mentioned Zheng Yun's name, they didn't seem to be so anxious. Seeing that everyone's emotions were better, Qin Wan'er dared to bring people to check Xingkai Hotel. Xingkai Hotel would be the most serious test she faced. She didn't know how Yi Fala would cooperate with her. She also didn't know how Wen Xiao would react if he noticed so many policemen in the hotel. Qin Wan'er was very clear that Zheng Yun definitely didn't check Xingkai Hotel because she knew Yi Fala. She had thousands of ways to deal with men. As for Zheng Yun, who didn't have much self-control, he probably couldn't even withstand a glance from Yi Fala. When the police came again, Yi Fala didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She didn't expect them to come again. However, when she saw Qin Wan'er, she couldn't laugh anymore. Yi Fala knew that Qin Wan'er would come again. There must be a reason. It seemed that she really had to be checked. "Chief Qin, you guys have worked hard these few days. You're here to check again." Yi Fala smiled slightly. She was very smart. She didn't mention a word about Zheng Yun's visit. "Quick, come in and sit. It's such a hot day. Everyone has worked hard. I'll get someone to prepare some tea first." "Chief Yi, there's no need. Don't be so polite. We still have a lot of things to do, so we have to hurry up and check," Qin Wan'er said. Her eyes were a little absent-minded. Yi Fala could see that she was nervous. It was really the kind of feeling that she was very nervous. Yi Fala looked at the other policeman and then suddenly said to Qin Wan'er, "Chief Qin, you're checking because of Wen Xiao, right? You don't say. I do have someone here who makes me feel a little suspicious." Qin Wan'er's heart was in her throat. What did Yi Fala mean by this? "I'll take you guys with me now. If he doesn't open the door, I'll arrange for someone to open it for you," Yi Fala said. "It's my duty to cooperate with the police." "Chief Yi, are you mistaken? Qin Wan'er couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. She really didn't understand what Yi Fala meant. If Yi Fala really brought them to Wen Zhao's room, then wouldn't it be? Qin Wan'er didn't even dare to think about it. Chief Qin, you can't do such a dangerous thing. I'll do it. Qin Wan'er couldn't let anyone take the risk. She turned around and glared. I've said it before. Listen to my arrangements for everything. Now that there's a suspicious target, I'll let Chief Yi bring me to the room. All of you guard outside the door. If the other party is Wen Zhao, I'll use my methods to order you guys to arrest him. If the other party isn't, we shouldn't disturb the guest's rest. Qin Wan'er had already spoken. No one dared to disobey. Moreover, not everyone had the courage to directly enter Wen Zhao's room. Qin Wan'er was a girl. She was really admirable. In fact, even if Qin Wan'er didn't know that Wen Zhao was a spy, she would still choose to do it herself when faced with such a situation. She wouldn't let the danger fall on anyone else. This had always been Qin Wan'er's style. Therefore, her words now wouldn't make anyone feel suspicious. Everyone knew that Qin Wan'er was such a person. Then let's go, Chief Qin. I'll accompany you, Yi Fala said. After all, I'm the person in charge of the hotel. I also have a lot of responsibility for this matter. Chapter 1956. Qin Wan'er was really nervous the whole way. She didn't know when the sudden change would happen. She couldn't predict how all of this would affect her next plan. She could only wait for everything to happen. Chief Qin, if it doesn't work, let's inform the special police first. To deal with this kind of person, we really... The nervous atmosphere had already changed the mentality of some of the colleagues. On the way to the room of the suspicious person mentioned by Yi Fala, some people raised their doubts. Qin Wan'er was startled. If they called the special police, then they really didn't plan on letting Wen Zhao escape? She was slightly startled and tried to think of an excuse. There's no need for that. Qin Wan'er was a bit hesitant. What if it's just a normal guest? That will affect the mood of the citizens. I think we should be more careful. If we confirm, then it won't be too late to let the special police go, right? Chief Qin, then it'll really be too late. We can't let you fall into danger. It's better to be safe than sorry. If it's really a normal guest, we'll apologize to him. I believe he'll understand. That's right, Chief Qin. The city leaders only gave us 10 days. We can't make any mistakes. We've already investigated for an entire day today. It's already dark now. 10 days will pass quickly. We can't make any mistakes. A few people talked at once and directly blocked Qin Wan'er's path. They were really worried about Qin Wan'er and didn't want anything to happen to her. That was why they were especially concerned. But, Chief Qin, there's no buts. You can't think too much about other people's feelings. The other party isn't a normal criminal. Qin Wan'er's rebuttal would be opposed by others. You all know that I'm friends with Xingkai Hotel's CEO Yi. I really don't want our reckless actions to affect her. After all, Xingkai Hotel is a famous 5-star hotel in Xinjiang. If there's a mistake, then we really... Yi Fala couldn't speak at this time. She didn't think that these people would be so opinionated and actually come up with this idea. She originally thought that if Qin Wan'er went with her to see Wen Zhao, then Qin Wan'er would personally say that she wasn't a suspect. Everything would end smoothly. But now it seemed that these people really weren't so easy to deal with. Yi Fala had a headache. She overreached herself. Right now, he didn't know where Su Yin had gone. He didn't see him at the hotel. If he was here, he might be able to think of some emergency solutions. In fact, this was something that Su Yin did not expect. He had just investigated the Xingkai Hotel yesterday, and today Qin Wan'er had brought people here. No matter who it was, they would be caught off guard. Su Yin didn't come back all day because he was sightseeing. He had gone to all the places in Xinjiang. He was now concerned about the port. He hoped to get some evidence of Jutsai Group's crimes as soon as possible. Although the entire Xinjiang gang was now under the control of the armed police, the Jutsai Group's methods were very powerful. Who knew if they also had a mole in the armed police? Now that everyone's attention was focused on Wen Zhao, it was definitely a good time for them to commit some crimes. In this way, Su Yin had completely missed Qin Wan'er planned to bring people to the Shinkai Hotel. Chairman Yi, since you're Chinju's friend, then you should consider Chinju's safety. We're not doing this to bring you trouble. We're really worried that your hotel will be in danger. Wen Xiao is really too dangerous. We can't even be sure if he has explosives or something like that on him. These words were somewhat exaggerated. It was to get Yi Fala to cooperate. Yi Fala felt helpless. This guy really didn't know that she had been scared since she was young. He actually played this trick with her. However, she still had to cooperate. She couldn't let others feel that something was wrong. Of course, I support Chinju's orders. Chinju, quickly contact the special police team. Premier Yi can understand our actions. Yes, Chinju. Hurry up and give the order. Otherwise, if Wen Xiao notices it later, all our efforts will be in vain. Qin Wan'er's heart was in a mess. She really hoped that Wen Xiao would notice something and escape immediately. However, Wen Xiao definitely wouldn't be careful at all times in the Shinkai Hotel. He should know that this place was safe. His vigilance would definitely be lowered to the lowest. Chinju, your colleagues' words are very reasonable. I think. Why don't you follow their suggestion? After all, safety first. Yi Fala was very calm when she said this. Although she was helpless, she knew that some things would happen. Wen Xiao had to face what he had to face. There was a good saying. If it was a blessing, it wouldn't be a disaster. If it was a disaster, it couldn't be avoided. Since Wen Xiao had accepted this dangerous undercover mission, this special undercover mission, he should have considered all of this long ago. Therefore, what would happen. Rather than running away, it was better to face it. Qin Wan'er was still struggling. Yi Fala found the right time to whisper in Qin Wan'er's ear in a very low voice. Don't make yourself look different. Yi Fala's words really reminded Qin Wan'er. Yes, don't make yourself look different. This matter couldn't let anyone suspect her. She had to do what she usually did. Otherwise, before Wen Zhao's mission succeeded, she would be exposed. Okay. Qin Wan'er finally made a decision. I will apply for special police support now. However, before confirming the guest's identity, they can only quietly lurk around the hotel. They can't be conspicuous and can't affect the mood of the other guests. If there is a need, let them take action. Qin Wan'er relented. Everyone's heart that was hanging in the air also relaxed. Yes. Yi Fala also had no other choice. She was now in the eyes of everyone. She couldn't give Wen Xiao any notice. Forget it. Let's leave it to fate. The country gave such an important task to Wen Xiao. Then Wen Xiao should have some ability. If he couldn't escape from the hands of the police, it could only mean that this mission was given to the wrong person. He simply didn't have the ability. After the special police team received the news, they immediately arranged for 3 small teams to come to support. According to Qin Wan'er's request, they came to set up the defense secretly. They didn't alert any of the guests in the hotel. They only evacuated all the people on the roadside. After all, it was still dangerous. Of course, Wen Xiao wasn't a person who was underestimated. His ability to adapt was definitely one of the best. To be able to survive in such a chaotic mercenary environment in Southeast Asia and make a name for himself, this wasn't something that ordinary people could do. Wen Xiao could do it. The sudden silence around the hotel made Wen Xiao feel uneasy. When a person's environment suddenly changed, whether it was a noisy place that suddenly became quiet, or a quiet place that suddenly became lively, it was an unusual behavior. Wen Xiao had already noticed this unusual behavior. He knew that there was definitely something wrong outside. Thinking of this, Wen Xiao quickly turned off the lights in the room, and then closed the curtains. He stood by the wall, and began to carefully observe the situation outside through a gap in the curtains. Although Wen Xiao only had one eye, he had extraordinary observational skills. Soon, Wen Xiao realized that the special police team was outside. This situation was very simple. It meant that he was already surrounded. Then, Wen Xiao noticed that there were snipers at several commanding heights around Shinkai Hotel. Although they had hidden themselves very well, they still couldn't escape Wen Zhao's eyes. Wen Xiao took a deep breath. It seemed that he was really in trouble today. The Shenzhen police were really good. They found him so quickly? This was a bit too ridiculous. He had hidden himself very well. Of course, he didn't know that the reason for all this was Qin Wan'er's accident and Yi Fala's self-defeating attempt. All the coincidences collided together, leading to the situation he was facing today. It was a very serious and dangerous situation. Phew. Wen Xiao quickly prepared himself. The scene of the special police team outside kept flashing in his mind. The aiming positions of the snipers at the commanding heights quickly became a fixed-point map in his mind. If he needed to break out of the encirclement, he must have such a fixed-point map in his mind. This way, he could use the shortest time to determine the safest route and make the most correct decision. Chapter 1957. There was news from the SWAT team that everything was ready. Now they were just waiting for the operation to start normally. They would be on standby at any time. As long as there was an order to attack, the SWAT team would immediately take over the command of the entire operation. Now what they needed to see was what kind of things Qin Wan'er was going to face, and what kind of dangers and challenges she was going to face. Yi Fala gently patted Qin Wan'er's shoulder and said, "Director Qin, don't be nervous. Let nature take its course. Don't worry. Things will definitely develop in a good direction." These words seemed to be comforting Qin Wan'er that this operation would not have any accidents. In fact, they were telling Qin Wan'er to believe in Wen Zhao's ability to deal with all these sudden situations. Qin Wan'er nodded and said, "Director Yi, thank you so much for your cooperation. The situation now is more dangerous. You should also leave. This is our job. We have to ensure your safety." "And I know." Yi Fala took them to the floor where Wen Zhao's room was and told them the room number. Then she left under the escort of the police. She knew that she could not help at all. Now all she could do was try to find a way to create some chaos when Wen Xiao was attacked by the SWAT team. In the case of ordinary people being in chaos, the police and the SWAT team would be very careful. It was impossible for them to open fire. This might be a small help to Wen Xiao, but it was better than nothing. Qin Wan'er took a deep breath. In the current situation, she could not lie to her colleagues. The people around her could not only let her go in alone to confirm the situation. Few fight. Qin Wan'er took a deep breath and used hand signals to command everyone to lie in ambush on both sides of the room. As long as Wen Xiao opened the door, they would definitely enter with guns. Qin Wan'er was also prepared for everything. Although she was already a leader at the level of deputy director, people who knew her well knew that she would appear on the front line in any dangerous situation. She would never retreat. After all, she was a criminal police officer. It was reasonable for her to do these things. Bang bang bang. Qin Wan'er finally knocked on Wen Zhao's door. Wen Xiao, who was in the room, was already prepared to face anything. "Who is it?" "Hello, sir. Today is our hotel's anniversary celebration. We have prepared a beautiful gift for every guest." Qin Wan'er pretended to be a hotel waiter and spoke softly. Wen Xiao chuckled in his heart. The police's method of breaking down a door was always this kind of question. It was no different from asking you to open the door to check the water meter, but it was quite novel to change the method. "A gift?" Wen Xiao smiled. "All right, please wait a moment. I'll look for my slippers." It seemed like a plain conversation, but Wen Xiao did it on purpose. He had already dressed up and was ready to rush out of the encirclement at any time. But when he said that he couldn't find slippers, he was subconsciously telling the police outside that he wasn't dressed properly and that he had to wear slippers. This would reduce the pressure on the police. Wen Xiao was conveying a message that he was completely unprepared and unaware. This would make the rest of the police lower their guard, but Qin Wan'er was nervous. If this guy was so easily controlled, then wouldn't everything be ruined? The undercover plan was ruined just like that? Then how could she face Su Yin? Qin Wan'er really felt that her head was going to explode. Wen Xiao, can you be more reliable? Don't make it so difficult for me." At this time, Wen Xiao suddenly opened the door of the room. Qin Wan'er suddenly came back to her senses, and the colleagues on both sides almost rushed in with their guns at the same time. But in such a short time, Qin Wan'er only felt that she was pulled in by a strong force, and then she was completely restrained. The pistol in her hand also fell to the ground. The situation suddenly became quiet. Everyone was dumbfounded. Yes, they really didn't expect that a person who didn't even wear slippers could have such a fast speed. Wen Xiao only used less than a second to control Qin Wan'er in his hands. The changes in the situation made the rest of the police not know how to deal with it. Everyone put down your weapons. Wen Xiao roared. A sharp dagger in his hand had already been sealed on Qin Wan'er's neck. He quickly retreated into the room. There was dead silence outside the door. Qin Wan'er was controlled. This was something that they never expected. Wen Xiao was actually very nervous. He was an undercover agent that the police didn't know. He couldn't hurt the police. This was a bottom line, a principle. If he hurt the police, it would be a failure for him. Just when Wen Xiao's mental state was very chaotic, Qin Wan'er suddenly said calmly in a low voice, "I know your identity." This was something that Wen Xiao had never expected, but it also brought him even more pressure. "Su Yin has already told me, but you can rest assured that in the entire Xinjiang police, except for me, no one knows your identity." Qin Wan'er continued to maintain her calmness. She was very nervous at the beginning, but she suddenly calmed down at this time. Maybe this was a kind of invisible personal ability. At the critical moment, she was calm in the face of danger. All of Qin Wan'er's reactions were natural. She herself didn't expect that she would be so calm at this point. No one is to come in. Otherwise she will die. Wen Xiao shouted at the people outside the door who had regained their senses and were eager to break in. This was indeed a great deterrent. No one dared to enter the room rashly. After all, it was Qin Wan'er who was in trouble. She was their deputy director, and the person they supported the most. Qin Wan'er had already felt Wen Xiao's strength relax. He listened to her and began to try to calm himself down. "Wen Xiao, don't let me go. The special police are ready outside." Qin Wan'er continued to convey some information to Wen Xiao. "I am your only trump card to escape. Don't worry about hurting me. The most important thing now is to let others believe that you will really hurt me." Wen Xiao nodded and whispered, "Okay." Then he continued to maintain the deterrent to the people outside the door. "Everyone disperse. Leave the door." Although there were special police outside, Wen Xiao didn't need to worry because the curtains in the room were tightly blocked. The snipers couldn't see the situation inside the room. The special police wouldn't act rashly. The people outside the room were in a mess. Someone immediately rushed downstairs. They needed to hand over the scene to the special police team. This was definitely a situation they couldn't deal with. At this time, Su Yin had already driven back to the Xinkai Hotel. He walked around the port twice and saw the armed police. They were very careful about the goods entering and leaving the port. Perhaps it was still too early. Su Yin didn't find anything, so he came back early. However, when he was one street away from the hotel, Su Yin was stopped by the special police. He was stunned and realized that something had happened. "Brother, what's the situation?" Su Yin stopped the car and asked directly. "I want to go back to the hotel. I live in the Xinkai Hotel in front. How can I go back when the road is blocked?" "I have nothing to tell you about the law enforcement in front." The special police naturally kept his mouth shut. "This place will be dangerous. I hope you cooperate with the police." Su Yin nodded and smiled, pretending to be relaxed. I understand. I will cooperate. Comrade, it's really hard. By the way, do you want water? I have Red Bull in the trunk. Take it and drink it for the hard-working police comrades." Seeing Su Yin so enthusiastic, the special police was also very grateful. He shook his head in a friendly manner. "You're welcome, comrade. This is what we should do to serve the people. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you for understanding." I understand. Su Yin. I'll park the car over there. You can find me if you need water." Since he couldn't go back to the hotel, Su Yin really had no place to go. He could only wait by the side. The special police was embarrassed by Su Yin's enthusiasm, so he didn't say anything. Even if there was no parking space at the place Su Yin said, and it was illegal parking, he just turned a blind eye. Su Yin reversed the car a little further away, and silently observed everything that happened here. He quickly took out his phone and dialed Yi Fala's number. Yi Fala was in the hotel. He needed to know what was happening in the hotel now. Chapter 1958. Yi Fala picked up the call very quickly and went straight to the point. She did not waste Su Yun's time at all. Qinwan is already under Wen Zhao's control. I don't know the specific situation at the scene, but from the voice, the police are very nervous. The two of them have already met up? Su Yun's heart that was hanging in the air finally settled down. As long as the two of them can meet up, it's fine. I think there shouldn't be any problems. Let's act according to the situation. I'm now blocked by the special police at the east entrance of the hotel. If you have the chance, you can pass this information to Wen Zhao. It might be useful to him. I understand. Yi Fala nodded. She understood Su Yun's meaning very well. She also really hoped that she would have the chance. But now the police had already surrounded the room, and the special police had begun to break in. She really did not have the chance to get close to Wen Zhao. I'll do my best. Su Yun also knew that this was indeed a bit difficult for Yi Fala. You've worked hard. Safety first. If there's no other way, don't do anything dangerous. As long as Wen Zhao knows that Wan knows his identity, he will definitely not hurt Wan. Yi Fala suddenly heard the call from the special police team. She quickly said to Su Yun, I'm not talking to you anymore. The special police team is looking for me. It must be related to them. Su Yun immediately shut up and hung up the phone. Now, all the autonomy belonged to the people in the hotel. The only thing he could do was to be patient and wait. Other than waiting, there was still nothing else to do. He got out of the car and took out a box of Red Bull from the trunk. He directly carried it to the special police team blocking the road. This team had 6 people. Seeing Su Yun's actions, they were very grateful. They were also human. Because they were usually fully armed when carrying out missions, there were very few ordinary people who dared to approach them. Therefore, Su Yun's actions did indeed make them feel warm all over. Brothers, there are still many good people these days. The SWAT brothers who had stopped Su Yun earlier said. They were still relatively relaxed because their captain had personally led the team into the hotel. Their captain was very powerful, and they didn't believe that there would be anything difficult for their captain. Therefore, as long as they were responsible for guarding the intersection and not letting ordinary people enter and fall into danger, their mission would be completed. Drinks in cans were definitely more reassuring than those bottled drinks. They really didn't dare to drink bottled drinks. Who knew what kind of tricks someone would use to add drugs in it? Canned drinks were still okay. They looked very reassuring. There are very few people who aren't afraid of us. Although everyone had a good impression of Su Yun, they still remained vigilant. After all, Su Yun was a man, not a child. Su Yun gave a standard salute, using this salute to show his identity. Yo bro, you're from the army. Now the few of them had completely let down their guard against Su Yun. I didn't know that people from the army could do so well. Driving a luxury car. Su Yun laughed. This car belongs to Xinkai Hotel CEO Yi. I'm CEO Ye's friend. I came to Xinjiang for some matters and the car broke down. CEO Yi is generous and lent it to me. Not bad. You can even handle Xinkai Hotel's Yi Fala? Hahaha bro, you're not simple. That's our Xinjiang's famous Black Widow. Joking was a sign of trust. What business do you do? I do some agri-wood business. Su Yun. It's a small business. Now that the Chinese are hyping this thing up, I'll give it a try. You have good taste. Others say that there aren't so many valuable things in this world. However, once the Chinese sell them, the price will double. Yeah, there are aunties in Huaxia. What can't you do? Although the few of them were chatting with Su Yun, they did not let down their guard. Passers-by who approached them would still be persuaded to leave. Su Yun, on the other hand, stayed beside them like a friend, drinking and chatting together. Su Yun obviously didn't come here to relieve his boredom. After all, he could see the hotel's main entrance from here. If Wen Zhao wanted to come out, he would be able to see it immediately. Everything in the hotel was going on nervously. The captain of the special police team looked for Yi Fala to understand the situation. He asked her why she suspected that the guest in this room was Wen Zhao. Yi Fala didn't even think about it. I don't suspect that he's Wen Zhao. I just felt suspicious because I saw some of his actions. The captain of the special police team raised another question. He asked Yifala why she didn't tell the police earlier that she found something wrong. I don't have the confidence to say that I found Wen Xiao. I'm also not sure that he's Wen Xiao. More importantly, I didn't suspect him before. It's just that this guest hasn't shown his face since he checked in. That's why I felt that it was a little suspicious. I only said it when Chief Qin asked me. Yifala said. Chief Qin and I are friends. If we weren't friends, I wouldn't say that I suspect my guest. This is a habit of my profession. I won't always look at guests with suspicion. I'm in the hotel business. If that's the case, I won't be able to do it. There was no problem with this answer. The captain of the special police team nodded and asked. Then, did you notice that Wen Xiao was carrying any dangerous items? For example, explosives or something like that. This was very important. If Wen Xiao had such things on him, it would be troublesome. Leader, do you think that if I noticed it, I wouldn't call the police immediately? Yifala seemed to be very dissatisfied with this question. This is my hotel. I don't want my hotel to be blown up by explosives. The captain of the special police team smiled and comforted Yifala's emotions. Director Yi, I don't have any other meaning. I just want to confirm it. Please rest assured that we'll take over this place. In order to ensure your safety, I hope that you and your staff will cooperate with our work and temporarily leave the hotel to a safe area. Yifala nodded. Help me arrange for all my staff. I won't leave. Chief Qin is my friend. I'm very worried. Also, you know what kind of person I, Yifala, am. I have the ability to protect myself. Why don't you arrange for one of your people to try it out with me? Director Yi, I don't doubt your ability at all. However, I'm taking over the scene now, so you have to listen to me. The captain of the special police team obviously knew the name of Xinjiang Black Widow. Yifala was very angry. If you had used the time you wasted on me to do proper things, I'm afraid that Qinwan would have been saved by now. The captain of the special police team couldn't do anything to Yifala. With her skills, she wasn't weaker than anyone in the special police team. Forget it, it was understandable. This was her hotel, and her friend was being used as a hostage. It was normal for her to have this kind of responsibility. At this moment, Wen Zhao's room had already started to prepare for the breakout. Wen Zhao's backpack had a lot of fake explosives that he had prepared in advance. There was no gunpowder inside, and they were all empty. He had prepared this completely for today's situation. After Qin Wan'er saw it, she didn't know if it was real or fake. She was very surprised. If it was real, then it would be terrible. It could even blow up a floor of the hotel. When Xiao mouthed to Qin Wan, that it was fake and told her to stop the people outside. He began to put on these fake explosives. Qin Wan was also very cooperative. She comforted her colleagues outside the door, and told them not to act rashly and wait for the special police team's support. She made them think that they would be killed by Wen Xiao at any time. Wen Xiao quickly put on the explosive suit, and held the wireless detonator in his hand. This detonator would definitely make the special police team tremble in fear. They were very clear about this kind of bomb. The detonator could be pressed very easily, and if the detonator fell and was hit, it would also detonate the bomb. It could be said that this detonator was almost undefeatable. Unless you killed the person holding the detonator and could grab the detonator at the same time, you couldn't trigger the detonator. Not to mention the Xinjiang Special Police Team. Even if the special forces of the Dragon Brigade came, they would all have their heads explode from the pain. When Wen Xiao had requested for these fake equipment, Wang Guangxiao had been impressed by this kid's foresight. He was really too amazing. He was able to think of everything that needed to be done, just in case. In fact, Wen Xiao probably didn't think that he would have to use this item on his first day here. The Xinjiang police were really amazing. They could force him to use his trump card at the beginning. Fortunately, Qin Wan'er was his shield, so Wen Xiao had time to put on the explosive suit. After putting on the explosive suit, Wen Xiao made an okay gesture and controlled Qin Wan under the dagger in his hand again. Chapter 1959. At this time, the SWAT team had taken over the scene. After they came to the floor where Wen Xiao was, they immediately took over the police officers on the scene and asked them to leave first. After all, the police officers were not as professional as the SWAT team, and their weapons were more advanced and better. Moreover, this kind of dangerous work had always been done by the SWAT team. Several people in the station who were especially concerned about Qin Wan told her loudly before they left that she must not worry. They said that the SWAT team would definitely save her. After all the police officers left, the SWAT team leader asked the people in the room. He first wanted to ensure the safety of the hostage. "Director Qin, how are you? Are you hurt?" "No. I'm fine. I'm fine," Qin Wan responded. Wen Xiao would not stop her. They all knew the rules. If the SWAT team judged that the hostage was dead, they would directly choose to arrest the hostage. As long as the hostage was still alive and was not in danger, all their tasks could only be carried out under the condition of ensuring the hostage's safety. Hearing that Qin Wan was fine, the SWAT team leader was relieved and shifted the topic to Wen Xiao. "Wen Xiao, I think we should talk about it. It's not good for any of us to continue like this." "Yes, it's not good for any of us to continue like this. But it's still not good for me to talk about it." Wen Xiao said bluntly, "I know best what kind of situation I am in. I also know very well what kind of methods you guys use. Believe me, your methods are meaningless to me." The SWAT team leader nodded. "Yes, I know. Wen Xiao, you're a member of the National Special Forces. You're very good at fighting. We can't compare to you at all. Later, you betrayed the country and went to Southeast Asia to set up the One-Eyed Mercenary Group. Your reputation shocked the entire Southeast Asia. You have very strong combat and anti-detection abilities. I'm a self-aware person. I know it's hard for us to do anything to you. So today, I just don't want you to hurt the hostage." Wen Xiao laughed. "You're really joking. You're the SWAT team leader, right? Well, you're the leader. I can talk with you. One of your police officers is in my hands. You know how much bargaining chips I have." "That's right. You have a lot of bargaining chips. As long as the hostages in your hands are intact, we won't do anything to provoke you." This was the first time he was dealing with an industry insider, so he knew very well that ordinary negotiation methods were absolutely meaningless to people like Wen Xiao. Wen Xiao was all too clear about this set of procedures. If he played his cards according to common sense, there would be no result at all. Therefore, the SWAT team leader chose another way. He knew that he had to solve the problem in another way. Although he didn't know how to solve the problem, he could only take one step at a time. "It's good that you know. I know that too," Wen Xiao said. "So as long as you don't provoke me, I won't do anything that will provoke you. If you have any other ideas, fine, I'll accompany you to the end. I have a hostage in my hands. You can't let a deputy director die with me." Qin Wan took a deep breath and said, "Wen Xiao, don't you think you are underestimating the leaders of the police? If I can let you die, I'd rather be buried with you." Qin Wan's words were obviously a provocation to Wen Xiao. Normally, she wouldn't do this because it would affect the judgment of the SWAT team members outside. But today, she wanted this kind of influence. Sure enough, Qin Wan's words had a great psychological impact on the SWAT team leader. Only he knew how much pressure he was under. If Deputy Director Qin had an accident because of this incident, he would really have to take off his SWAT uniform. "Bureau Chief Qin, don't be impulsive. We can agree to any request of Wen Xiao. Don't be angry with him." The SWAT team leader quickly said, "I'm not angry. I'm not joking. You can't save me at all. The explosives on his body can blow up this hotel. The wireless detonator is in his hands. He only needs to press it gently, and everything will be over. He is luring your people to surround him. In this way, he can hurt more people." Qin Wan was going all out. After she had clearly expressed what she wanted to say, Wen Xiao roared, "Did you hear it clearly? This woman has already exposed my trump card to you. If I don't care. I don't care, because I have nothing to be afraid of." The SWAT team leader really needed to think about it now. It was a bomb, and he could hear the seriousness of this matter from Qin Wan's tone. Qin Wan's words clearly indicated two important clues. The first was the power of the explosives. It was very powerful. The second was the way to detonate it. The wireless detonator was the most difficult thing to deal with. All of you withdraw. I will waste time with him here. Qinwaner said. I don't believe he can keep wasting time. Wen Xiao said angrily. If you keep wasting time, you will die first. Do you think they will let you, a leader, die so easily? Hehehe. I still admire you very much. A young girl actually has such a high position, and even rushed to the front line. I admire you. I really admire you. Fortunately, I have you. My bargaining chip is so big. If it was an ordinary police officer, I would be a little worried. The SWAT team leader immediately spoke to offset Wen Zhao's superiority. Wen Xiao, you are wrong. No matter who it is, they are all hostages in our eyes. We will treat them with the same attitude. It is impossible that we will not dare to do anything just because she is my deputy director. Don't talk big with me. I just think this bargaining chip is different. Wen Xiao said. How great you are, how selfless you are. This is not what I want to hear. I want to hear how cooperative you will be. The SWAT team leader's forehead was full of sweat. I promise, as long as you don't hurt the hostages, we will cooperate with you 100%. Well, get out of the way first. I want to go out, Wen Xiao said. As long as he left the room, the power of the explosives would affect the surrounding situation more. If he wanted to go out of the hotel, it would be more dangerous. Just as the SWAT team leader hesitated, Wen Xiao was angry. You said 100% cooperation? Haha, are you kidding me? You are hesitating for such a small request, and you say 100% cooperation? No, I promise. The SWAT team leader immediately spoke to appease Wen Xiao. Don't worry, I will do what I say. I will keep my promise. I also hope you will not harm the hostages. I am not your SWAT team. I am a criminal. Whether I will keep my promise depends on whether I am in the mood. I will not be stupid enough to let you control everything. Okay, whatever you say. The SWAT team leader did not hesitate at all this time. Wen Xiao seemed to be very satisfied with this reaction. Leave the hotel now, and prepare a car for me. Immediately. I will count to 10. If I still see your people when I walk out of the room, don't blame me. Okay. The SWAT team leader agreed. Wait a minute. I have another condition. Let the hotel owner come up. I need someone to scout the way. Wen Xiao made an even more outrageous request. I am afraid I can't agree to this condition. This is not within my authority. The SWAT team leader said. This is like asking me to give you another hostage. I don't have this right. Wen Xiao shouted. That is your problem. Do you agree or not? Don't be agitated. We need time to discuss this. We need time to get the consent of the person involved. The SWAT team leader was really having a headache. Such an opponent was really difficult to deal with. However, the SWAT team leader felt that there was an advantage. Since Wen Xiao dared to make such a request, it was obvious that he did not know the identity of Xinjiang's Black Widow, Yi Fala. If Yi Fala was willing to cooperate, it might be a chance for them. I will give you 5 minutes. Wen Xiao said. There is enough time. The SWAT team leader immediately agreed. I will talk to the hotel owner now. Don't hurt the hostages. This is our bottom line. Stop talking nonsense. I don't know what I will do after the time is up. Wen Xiao was not polite at all. Chapter 1960. The captain of the SWAT team couldn't do anything. He could only communicate with Yi Fala. Yi Fala also didn't expect that the opportunity would present itself to him when he was worried about not being able to meet Wen Xiao. It seemed that Qinwaner and Wen Zhao's act was very beautiful. Suyin didn't waste so much time waiting outside. However, Yi Fala naturally couldn't agree to such a risky request immediately. That would indeed be a little unreasonable. In order to not let anyone have the slightest bit of suspicion, Yi Fala still pretended to be in deep thought. Director Yi, I know this is a very dangerous thing for you. We really don't have the qualifications to make such a request. The captain of the SWAT team looked down at the watch on his wrist. 2 minutes had already passed. If he couldn't let Yi Fala help stabilize Wen Xiao, Qinwaner might really get hurt. It's not that I don't want to help you. I also want to help. Moreover, Chief Chin is my friend. It's just this. Yi Fala was in a difficult position. I can only hope that you can understand me. This matter is really beyond my ability. The case you helped the police solve is still circulating in our SWAT team. In our eyes, Director Yi, you're really not an ordinary person. The captain of the SWAT team had no choice. He couldn't force it, but he also hoped that Yi Fala could step forward. He could only think of such a way to flatter him. Yi Fala raised his hand to stop him. Don't flatter me. I'm already a criminal. I can't bear it. Speaking up to this point, Yi Fala was slightly startled. If I cooperate with you, can my prison sentence be reduced? I don't even need to apply to the higher-ups for this. I can directly confirm it with you. This is a must. When the captain of the SWAT team heard that there was a chance, his eyes lit up. On this basis, if you have any other requests, I can also help you apply to the higher-ups and report everything you've contributed today. I believe that your sentence will be reduced even more. 3 minutes had already passed. Yi Fala finally nodded and relented. Okay, since you said so, then I'll really risk it. For Xinjiang's peace, for Chief Chin's safety, and for my own future, it seems worth it. Don't worry, Director Yi. We'll definitely protect your safety. The captain of the SWAT team promised. Cut it out. I can't believe all of your words. Yefra said bluntly. You said it yourself, his whole body is full of explosives, and he can flatten my building. You want to keep me safe? I think I should be the one protecting you. The captain of the SWAT team didn't know whether to laugh or cry. To put it bluntly, this was really the case. If Yi Fala didn't appear, once he couldn't control Wen Zhao's emotions, danger could happen at any time. Within 5 minutes, Yi Fala was brought to the door of Wen Zhao's room by the captain of the SWAT team. Wen Zhao, I've done what I promised. Now Xingkai Hotel's CEO Yi is at the door of your room. Don't do anything stupid on impulse. He's really here? You're not fooling me, right? You won't find a policeman to replace me, right? Wen Zhao said. Without waiting for the captain of the SWAT team to explain, Yefala said, there's no need to fake it. If you find out that I found a fake substitute, you can blow up my hotel. I won't be able to live on either. This hotel is my life. With your words, I really do believe it. This is much more reliable than what the policeman said. Wen Zhao said. Qin Weiner glared at Wen Zhao. Did the police offend you? Why was the police's words unreliable? If it wasn't for the fact that she had to complete this act, Qin Weiner really wanted to argue with Wen Zhao. Now, other than the hotel's CEO Yi, everyone else get out. Everyone get out. Wen Zhao said. I'll only give you 1 minute to leave the hotel. After you get out, immediately use your loudspeaker to report to me. If there's a duplicate voice, all of you better be careful. Wen Zhao, this guy is really hard to deal with. He has too many ideas. It's really too many. Retreat. The captain of the SWAT team immediately gave the order. Their people had already hacked into the hotel's surveillance system. Everything that happened in the corridor was under their eyes. As long as Wen Zhao walked out of the room, his every move would be under their eyes. Unfortunately, Wen Zhao was much smarter than they thought. Wen Zhao didn't walk out of the room because of the departure of the SWAT team. Instead, he asked Yi Fala to raise his hands and slowly walked into the room. This time, the surveillance cameras couldn't see anything. After all, this was a proper hotel, not a place like Heavenly Palace one. There were actually cameras installed in the room. This was probably the biggest challenge the captain of the SWAT team had faced since he took office. He really felt that he had met a strong opponent, an absolutely strong opponent. What kind of trick are you playing? Do you really want to blow up my hotel? After Yi Fala saw the explosives all over Wen Zhao's body, she was dumbfounded. This guy actually brought so many dangerous things to stay in her hotel. He was really unreliable. Big sister, can you lower your voice? Don't let me know. Wen Zhao hurriedly said. These things are all props. They're all fake. There's no danger. You don't have to be nervous. I asked you to come in so that you can be a wall for me. Otherwise, I won't be able to escape. Yi Fala said. You can't be serious. You're already controlling a bureau-level officer, and you still can't escape? You still need my help. I've already observed and noticed that the SWAT team has arranged 3 groups of snipers. In other words, there are 3 high-definition sniper rifles aimed at the hotel entrance from the surrounding commanding heights. As long as I go out, I may be shot dead. Wen Xiao said, "It's not enough for me to only have 1 hostage. There must be 2 hostages to cover me so that I won't be targeted from any direction in these 3 rooms." "You're really good. Let me be your shield." Yi Fala was really drunk. This guy really thought about a lot of things. "You're safe, but what if we're shot? You can rest assured about this. They've all received professional training. With the 2 of you, 1 in front and 1 behind, the snipers of the SWAT team will definitely not dare to shoot." Wen Xiao said, "They definitely won't act rashly." Qin Wan was also quite embarrassed to trouble Yi Fala with this matter. "Director Yi, it's really been hard on you today. However, I also believe what Wen Xiao said. They won't act rashly." Yi Fala nodded. "Since things have already developed to this point, then I can only cooperate. Su Yin told me to tell you that he'll be waiting for you at the intersection on the right after you leave the hotel. There are cars there. If you're worried that the police's car will be a trap, then think of a way to go there and escape to the car there. Su Yin will have a way to give you the key." Hearing that Su Yin had already made preparations outside, Wen Zhao's suspended heart finally settled down. Although this kind of psychological advantage was invisible and intangible, it was real and pure. Now that you've already cooperated with the outside, the opportunity is very good. If you still can't escape, then I've really chosen the wrong person to ask you to come. Yi Fala even used the reverse psychology method to provoke Wen Xiao. Wen Zhao's warrior spirit emerged. "That's right. I have to settle this. I have to get out. Otherwise, I'll really disappoint the chief." The chief gave this task to him. It was a kind of great trust in him. He had to reap the rewards of this trust. "You're on the left, you're on the right. If I say go, then go. You must be slow. Don't let them see any flaws." Wen Xiao finally made the decision to break out. One of his hands held the dagger against Yi Fala's back, and the other hand held the bomb detonator and restrained Qin Wan. Just like this, the 3 of them walked out of the room little by little. Wen Xiao, who was armed to the teeth, really made the SWAT team completely stunned. This guy's preparation was really too safe. When the 2 hostages surrounded Wen Xiao, they had taken away the space and function of their sniper. The captain of the criminal police team touched it. Amazing. This opponent of Wen Xiao is too troublesome. Chapter 1961. Actually, even if Wen Xiao gave the sniper space, it wouldn't be a big deal. The sniper definitely wouldn't shoot. After all, once the detonator in his hand fell to the ground, the bomb would still explode. The reason why Wen Xiao did this was because he had a guilty conscience. The explosives on his body wouldn't explode at all. The 3 of them slowly walked out of the hotel. At this time, Wen Xiao seemed to have realized that his superfluous actions would instead arouse even greater suspicion. He didn't continue to control Yi Fala. He suddenly pushed him away and said to the SWAT team leader, "Very good, you're very trustworthy. Where's the car I asked for?" Of course, the SWAT team wouldn't let him drive away. This was Xinjiang City. He was in so much danger now. No matter where the explosion happened, it would cause a lot of trouble for the city leaders. "The car will be here soon. Calm down. We need to apply for these things from the higher-ups. It really takes time," the SWAT team leader explained. "Don't try to trick me with these things that you use to trick normal criminals. I know very well what you're thinking. I also know very well what you want to do to me." Wen Xiao raised his head and looked at the 3 high points. Although the sniper was hidden very well, he was still certain that the sniper team 3 was hiding in these 3 places. They couldn't go anywhere else. The SWAT team leader saw Wen Zhao's reaction and really didn't know what he was thinking. This was indeed a person that they couldn't easily control. "Your sniper can shoot at any time. Really, I'm standing here. 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 2 o'clock. Wen Xiao said confidently, "You can easily kill me from any position, but you better think about the consequences." As he spoke, Wen Xiao waved the detonator in his hand. This move was naturally done for the snipers at the 3 points to see. The spotter of the sniper team couldn't help but curse. This bastard had wrapped himself up like a dumpling with explosives and held the detonator tightly in his hand. Even if the snipers of the three teams had the ability to shoot him in the head, they definitely wouldn't dare to shoot rashly. Although the bullet wouldn't cause an explosion as long as it didn't trigger the explosives on Wen Zhao's body, the detonator in Wen Zhao's hand wasn't guaranteed. As long as there was a slight vibration, the explosives on Wen Zhao's body would directly explode. When the time came, the first one to be implicated would be Qin Wan-er. Seeing the weight of the explosives on Wen Zhao's body, Qin Wan-er would not be able to survive. Not to mention Qin Wan-er, even all the SWAT soldiers and police officers who were 20 meters away from Wen Zhao, if they couldn't dodge in time, they would also go to hell. In such a high-risk situation, no sniper would dare to pull the trigger. They also knew that Wen Zhao knew this, which was why he dared to walk out so arrogantly and stand under their sights. Wen Zhao, calm down. We definitely won't hurt you. Don't be agitated. When the SWAT team leader saw Su Yin shaking the detonator in his hand, his brain tensed up. This guy was going to make him mentally weak. Wrong. It's not that you won't hurt me. It's that you don't dare to hurt me. Wen Zhao smiled faintly. If I were to take off this explosive right now, you would be able to turn me into a beehive, right? Of course, I'm not agitated. I'm very calm. I won't give you time to think of a way to deal with me. I don't want the car anymore. Immediately. As he spoke, Wen Zhao started to walk in the direction of Su Yin's car. The information that Yi Fala gave him was definitely very important. He believed that Su Yin would definitely be able to plan it clearly. He would definitely park the car at a place where the three snipers couldn't aim at. Seeing Wen Zhao start to move, everyone nervously made a path for him. The SWAT team leader was completely puzzled by his current actions. A normal person would definitely not make such a choice. If Wen Zhao dared to walk out of here, there was only one possibility. Someone was waiting for him outside? Thinking of this, the SWAT team leader was so shocked that he broke out in a cold sweat. If that was the case, they would be at an even greater disadvantage. All of this would become even more dangerous, and all of this would become even more difficult. Wen Zhao, stop right there. The SWAT team leader suddenly said. The car you want is about to arrive. If you don't believe me, fine. I can give you the SWAT team's car. You can drive it away now, as long as you put down the hostage. But I won't let you leave here. You won't let me leave? I'm afraid you don't have the right to negotiate with me now. You think I don't know that your SWAT team's car has a GPS tracker? Even if you arrange the car later, there will definitely be a GPS tracker installed. I'm not that stupid. Wen Zhao said. I changed my mind, so I want to leave now. Make way for me immediately. No. The SWAT team leader seemed to be testing Wen Zhao's bottom line. Wen Zhao's eyes flashed with a ruthless green light. If you want to test me, fine. You have successfully tested my bottom line. I don't care if I die with you. I will emphasize for the last time. If you don't make way, we will die together. Wen Zhao, you definitely don't want to die. Otherwise, you wouldn't have escaped from Yanjing to Xinjiang. The SWAT team leader said. We must have a way to solve the problem. Don't be so agitated. I don't want to hear your negotiation. I will count to 5. If you order your people not to make way, I will make you regret it. Wen Zhao said angrily. He had already heard Qin Wan-er's soft words. Qin Wan-er told Wen Zhao that if there was no other way, he would hurt her. She believed that the SWAT team wouldn't watch her get hurt. In fact, this was really not what Wen Zhao wanted. He hoped that the SWAT team could cooperate. He didn't want them to cooperate with him. 1. The SWAT team leader and Wen Zhao confronted each other. He knew that Wen Zhao was breaking their bottom line bit by bit, making it difficult for them. However, if they kept backing down like this, everything would become more and more complicated and troublesome. 2. Wen Zhao didn't have any intention of backing down. The SWAT team leader didn't back down either. He seemed to be telling Wen Zhao with his actions that he should give up. You can't escape today. No matter what method you use, even if you die together, he didn't want to back down. 3. Wen Zhao smiled. His smile was actually to cover up his guilty conscience. He also realized that the captain of the SWAT team wanted to make a big bet with him. He was betting that Wen Xiao would cherish his own life and would never trigger the detonator himself. 4. The people at the scene had unknowingly retreated a lot of meters. They couldn't bear this kind of danger. They couldn't bear it, and there was no meaning in bearing it. Wen Xiao, think clearly. If you die, what's the point of you escaping? The SWAT team leader warned him one last time. Wen Xiao sneered. Of course I won't die. However, when I count to 5, someone will live a life worse than death. The SWAT team leader was stunned. 5. Wen Xiao said coldly. As his voice fell, he apologized to Qin Wan-er in his heart. Suddenly, he moved his hand and broke Qin Wan-er's left arm. This technique looked quite vicious. It seemed that he had broken Qin Wan-er's arm. However, in fact, he only dislocated Qin Wan-er's arm and didn't hurt her too much. However, this feeling was really quite bad. It was also quite painful. Qin Wan-er's face turned ugly at that moment. Large beads of sweat rolled down her forehead directly from her face. The people in the police station were all scared out of their wits. Although Wen Xiao was very sorry in his heart, on the surface he could only pretend that he was very good at torturing people. The SWAT team leader tried to control his inner turmoil. He didn't know how long he could restrain himself. He didn't know how long he could hold on. I'll give you 5 more seconds. It's still an arm. Wen Xiao smiled slightly. I want to see if you can hold on or if the hostage can hold on. King let her go. Wen Xiao, are you a man? If you are a man, you should have some balls. What kind of ability is it to deal with a woman? The people in the police station couldn't stand it anymore. After all, they were all hot-blooded young people. After all, Qin Wan-er was also a goddess-level beautiful bureau chief. Everything that Wen Xiao did would, of course, deeply irritate them. The SWAT team leader turned his head and ordered, "Take away all the emotionally unstable people." Immediately. He didn't want those people's emotions to affect the development of the matter. Soon, the SWAT team members began to drag away a few emotionally unstable people. These people were shouting as they were being taken away. If anything happened to Qin Wan-er, they would never forgive them. 5. Wen Xiao counted again. Qin Wan-er endured the pain in her shoulder and cooperated with Wen Xiao to start again. She had to grit her teeth and hold on. Holding on was victory. Chapter 1962. Get out of the way. Everyone get out of the way. The captain of the crime squad could not watch Wen Xiao torture the hostage. This was the basic principle of the special police. Whether the hostage in front of him was Qin Wan-er or not, he could not watch. Qin Wan-er endured the pain caused by the dislocation and was taken out of the encirclement by Wen Xiao little by little. She could only struggle meaninglessly. You can't let him go like this. We will never have such a good chance to catch him again. We can't let him go. Shut up, Wen Xiao said fiercely, but no one in the special police would listen to Qin Wan-er. If the captain asked them to get out of the way, they had to get out of the way. Even if they were eager to beat Wen Xiao to the ground and let him know the consequences of holding the goddess of the police hostage, they had no choice but to get out of the way. Wen Xiao walked out of the encirclement, which was equivalent to the first step of successfully escaping danger. His eyes had been searching for Su Yun's figure. Soon he found Su Yun among the special police at the intersection. At this time, the special police who were responsible for blocking the intersection had received the scene notice that Wen Xiao was walking towards them with the hostage. They must be careful and must not act rashly, because the explosives on Wen Xiao's body were enough to make all of them fly into the sky. What was more, there were so many people standing at the intersection that were not allowed to pass. It was a well-known fact that Huaxia people liked to watch a show. Even if the special police forced them to stay, those who insisted on watching would still stay. They could not be driven away. After receiving the order, the special police who were responsible for blocking the road immediately began to move. The first thing they did was to disperse the onlookers. This was the most important thing. If the explosives on Wen Xiao exploded, how many people would die? They did not dare to think about the consequences at all. Of course, Su Yun was also in the range of being dispersed, but he chose a very good identity to help the special police disperse the onlookers. In this way, Several special police officers would not disperse him. They knew that Su Yun was from the army, so they would subconsciously treat Su Yun as a trustworthy person. They thought that Su Yun would be very clear that after dispersing the crowd, he would quickly leave. However, Su Yun didn't leave at all. He wanted to get in touch with Wen Xiao as soon as possible and give him the car key. This was a task that he had to complete. Moreover, his actions couldn't arouse any suspicion. He had to rescue Wen Xiao. Wen Xiao was getting closer and closer to them. There were so many onlookers that it was impossible to disperse all of them. Some people had clearly left but came back again. That kind of curiosity was so great that no one would have a friend. I really don't know what these guys are thinking. I really don't know what they want. You're not done yet. Wen Xiao had already arrived at the blockade line at the intersection. He fearlessly said to a few special police officers, "Remove the blockade line for me. Right away." The special police officers received orders to satisfy all of Wen Xiao's requests. No matter what he did, they had to appease his emotions. They absolutely couldn't let the safety of the people be threatened. If the safety of the people was threatened, then everything they did would be meaningless. Su Yun was next to several special police officers. He calmly looked at Wen Xiao. Wen Xiao and Qin Wan also noticed him at the first moment. Obviously, the three of them didn't know what kind of method they were going to use to start this unintentional contact. Su Yun used the shortest time to gather his emotions. Suddenly, he stood in front of Wen Xiao in surprise and blocked Wen Xiao's way. "Wan, why are you? Why are you?" Su Yun's sudden appearance was also unexpected to the special police officers present. This guy actually knew Qin Ju. Qin Wan could only play along. She was also surprised. "Why are you here? Hurry up and leave. It's very dangerous here." "No. How can I watch you be?" Su Yun's acting was very good. It was completely emotional. "Shut the *CK up." Wen Xiao pointed at Su Yun and shouted angrily. "Hurry up and get out of the way, or I'll teach you a lesson. If you have the guts, come at me. What are you doing holding a woman hostage? Are you still human?" Su Yun's emotions were very agitated. Two special police officers rushed up and held him down. They were really afraid of angering Wen Xiao because of one person's impulsiveness. "Calm down. We special police officers will take care of this." Su Yunkai didn't give them any face. "Then do it. Take this guy down. He has so many bombs on him. Calm down. You can't save the hostages like this." The special police officer's words seemed to calm Su Yun down. However, he still couldn't accept the reality and stared at Wen Xiao fiercely. It seemed like he wanted to eat Wen Xiao alive. Wen Xiao didn't care and continued to provoke Su Yun. "Whether I'm human or not, it's not up to you to decide. This woman seems to have an unusual relationship with you, right? You want to save her? Okay, I'll give you a chance." Hearing this, Su Yun ignored the special police officer's obstruction and directly stood up. "You say, what do you want? Exchange hostages. I'll be your hostage. I promise to cooperate. You let her go, okay? I promise that I'll cooperate with you no matter what you ask me to do. Unfortunately, I don't trust your promise. I want you to do something now. You have to do it immediately." Wen Xiao said. "Otherwise I'll torture this woman in front of you." "Just King say it. Don't threaten me with a woman." Su Yun agreed. Wen Xiao nodded. "Very good. Go and get me a car now. Any roadside car will do. Rob one for me. I'll only give you 3 minutes. The road here is blocked. Where can I rob a car for you? 3 minutes? Are you kidding me? You want a car? Okay, I'll give you my car. My car is parked there." Su Yun began to take out the key as he spoke. "The key is here. You let her go and I'll give you the key." "Ha ha ha ha. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old child? Let her go? It's impossible to let her go before I get in the car. Now, I want you to open the door and start the car. Get everything ready." Wen Xiao said. Su Yun nodded. "No problem. Whatever you say. I'll do it. Don't hurt her." The special police officers didn't know what to do. However, the special police captain who had been observing the situation ordered them not to act rashly and to cooperate with all Wen Zhao's requests. After all, there were still onlookers at the scene. The consequences of an explosion were unimaginable. Su Yun prepared everything according to Wen Zhao's request. Wen Zhao finally achieved his goal and came to the side of the car easily. 3 groups of snipers reported to their captain almost at the same time. They had lost their shooting angle and vision. That place was their shooting blind spot. They couldn't see the situation there. Although the special police captain was helpless, there was nothing he could do. Even if there was a chance to shoot, he wouldn't dare to give the order to shoot. The bomb was still there. Wen Zhao carefully got into the car. Even at that time, he was still controlling Qin Wan. When he was completely safe, he pushed Qin Wan away and shouted, "I'll return her to you." Then he stepped on the accelerator and sped off. All the special police officers were ready to shoot. They were waiting for their captain's order to shoot at the tires to force Wen Zhao to stop. Su Yun suddenly pounced on the roof of the car. This scene really shocked all the special police officers. Those who were closest to Su Yun and chatted with her were even more impressed. A person from the army was indeed from the army. A real man. He had guts. However, Wen Zhao seemed to be very experienced in this. He suddenly braked and Su Yun was thrown out due to inertia. He fell directly in front of the car. Wen Zhao's next move was even crazier. He sped up and wanted to run over Su Yun. Everything was so thrilling. Qin Wan was so nervous that she even forgot about the pain of her dislocated arm. Fortunately, Su Yun's reaction was fast enough. Before Wen Zhao could run over him, he was out of danger. Although Wen Zhao didn't hit anyone, he didn't continue to fight. He drove away without hesitation. Chapter 1963. Su Yun bared his teeth and stood up. He quickly ran over to Qin Wan. When Qin Wan saw that Su Yun was fine, she let out a long sigh of relief. What had just happened had almost scared her to death. Only people with such chemistry could put on such a realistic show. Wen Zhao successfully escaped from the encirclement, but the captain of the SWAT team would not give up so easily. He immediately notified the air support and mobilized all the traffic surveillance to track Wen Zhao's car. He also notified the air support to track Wen Zhao's car. All the SWAT team members were also fully equipped. They were waiting for Wen Zhao's location to be determined at any time. They would surround and chase him in multiple directions at the same time. The reason why they did not chase him now was for safety reasons. After all, Wen Zhao had explosives with him. Now he was nervous. If he accidentally lost the detonator, chasing him would be asking for trouble. Su Yun walked to Qin Wan's side. Seeing the sweat on her forehead, he knew that she was injured. After realizing the problem, Su Yun reached out and pinched Qin Wan's shoulder. Qin Wan was in so much pain that she almost screamed. Dislocated. Su Yun was familiar with this, mainly because he knew too well that Wen Zhao could not really hurt Qin Wan's bones. At most, he would dislocate Qin Wan's shoulder. It seemed serious, but in fact it was very easy to solve. Bear with it. Don't mess around. The SWAT team members saw that Su Yun was touching Qin Wan and immediately felt worried. Qin Wan trusted Su Yun very much. Come on, I can bear it. Su Yun did not stop at all. He knew that as long as he stopped, the SWAT team members would immediately stop him. Hearing a crack, Qin Wan gritted her teeth and endured the pain. She did not make a sound. I told you not to mess around. Stop. The SWAT team members came up and pushed Su Yun away. Su Yun raised his hands to show that he did not mean any harm. She is fine. Just dislocated. Trust me. We are friends. I will not hurt my own friend. He is indeed my friend. Don't be like this. Qin Wan felt uncomfortable seeing Su Yun being pushed. Don't be rude to my friend. Since Chief Qin had spoken, no one dared to do anything to Su Yun. Su Yun also relaxed and smiled bitterly. It was really too dangerous just now. What the hell is going on? What's going on? The S-Class wanted criminal, Wen Zhao, was found by us at Xinkai Hotel. He was desperate, so he took me hostage and escaped. After all, there were so many people around her. Qin Wan could only keep up the act. We cannot let him escape. He is too dangerous. At this time, the captain of the SWAT team also came forward. When he saw that Qin Weiner was fine, he felt relieved. He immediately saluted Su Yin and said, "Comrade, thank you for your bravery. On behalf of all the members of the SWAT team, I would like to thank you." Su Yin waved his hand and smiled. "Captain of the SWAT team? Aya, you don't have to be so polite. We are all serving the people. What I did was not a bravery. It was just something that I did casually. It is really not worth mentioning. No, your actions were very brave. It is worth learning from all of us. Thank you," the captain of the SWAT team said and reached out his right hand. Su Yin immediately reached out to shake hands with him. He really did not think about anything at all. However, at the moment when they shook hands, the captain of the SWAT team exerted force. Su Yin was completely unprepared. His wrist was directly grabbed by the captain. When Su Yin wanted to resist, he suddenly gave up and let the captain handcuff him. Everything happened too suddenly. Qin Weiner was really dumbfounded. The other members of the SWAT team were also stunned. Wasn't this a good citizen who acted bravely for a just cause? How could the captain detain someone just like that? Wasn't this too ridiculous? Is this the reward for the good youth who acted bravely for a just cause? Su Yin's attitude was quite good. He was not anxious and did not turn hostile. He still smiled and said, "Captain of the SWAT team, isn't it a bit sinister to do this kind of sneak attack?" Qin Weiner had a bad temper. She was anxious. "Xiaozheng, are you sick in the head? Why did you not chase after Wen Xiao? Why did you arrest him? Did you not see how much he did for the police just now?" The captain of the SWAT team, Xiaozheng, was probably the most low-key captain since the establishment of the SWAT team in Shenzhen City. However, his solving ability was very strong. Many times, there were many special cases that relied on his brain to solve. He was a captain of the SWAT team who liked to use his brain very much. Therefore, there was not a single mission that he failed. "Chief Qin, I am sorry. I need to explain this matter," Xiaozheng said. "I just can't help but suspect that Wen Xiao has an outsider. In the hotel, he asked to come out. After coming out, he asked to go in this direction and refused our request to provide a vehicle. Then here he got the vehicle he wanted. The vehicle was also parked in a blind spot where the 3 snipers could not shoot. All of this is really a bit too coincidental. I can't help but suspect." Qin Weiner heard Xiaozheng's analysis and became nervous. If this guy really wanted to break through this layer, then it would be really troublesome. Su Yin was also very shocked in his heart. This guy was good. His IQ was high enough to be able to link this step by step. Shenzheng's police force was really a crouching tiger and a long dragon. This was really troublesome. If he did not appear today and cause this scene, Wen Xiao might have really been taken down by the captain of the SWAT team and his people. "Captain Xiao, you should really write a novel. Write a mystery novel and definitely get rid of Sherlock Holmes," Su Yin said. "You can even link such an unreliable thing together? I'm really wronged. That's right, this is really too coincidental. Who told me to also stay in this hotel? I'm thinking about the entire mission. I hope you don't mind my suspicion," Xiaozheng said. Su Yin smiled. "Then you can't just suspect me. You also have to suspect Xingkai Hotel CEO Yi. The car that Wen Xiao drove away just now was hers. Really, I'm not joking." Xiaozheng froze for a moment. "If that's the case, I really do need to ask CEO Yi a few questions." "Xiaozheng, I'll only tell you one last time. Immediately let him go. If you want to suspect my friend, then fine, arrest me too. Why don't you suspect that I'm Wen Xiao's accomplice? I've been with Wen Xiao from the beginning to the end." Qin Weiner was really angry. Although he was the captain of the SWAT team and was usually ruthless to his subordinates, in the face of Qin Weiner's roar he did not have any temper at all. "Xiaozheng, you really are incurable." Qin Weiner gasped for breath. "Chief Qin, I feel that you really need to understand me." Xiaozheng wanted to make a final explanation. "I feel that my suspicion is necessary. It really is necessary." At this time, the person in charge of the city's road monitoring system relayed the latest situation to the scene. He said that the car had been found. The car was parked on the viaduct less than 3 kilometers away from them. The helicopter had already gone to the location to monitor. The car had stopped. What the hell was there to monitor? It was obvious that they had abandoned the car and fled. Xiaozheng wished he could break the sycamore tree beside him with a punch. The person has already escaped. Do you still plan to continue wasting time here? Qin Wan'er stared at Xiaozheng. It was because you guys arrived that we handed over the control of the scene to you. But now what's the result? What about Wen Xiao? How are we going to explain this to the city leaders? How are we going to explain this to the people of Xinjiang? Xiaozheng was really helpless. This was really not the result he wanted, but everything had already turned out like this. Let him go, Qin Wan'er ordered. If he is Wen Zhao's accomplice, I'll take all responsibility. Because if that's the case, I'm also an accomplice. I'll remind you one last time, Captain Xiao. The wanted order clearly states that Wen Xiao is a very independent wanted criminal. He escaped alone, not with a group. I understand. Xiaozheng uncuffed Su Yun's wrist and said embarrassedly, I was too impulsive. I hope you can understand. Su Yun acted like a good person. I understand, of course I understand. You all serve the people. How can you not understand? I understand too much. Chapter 1964. Although Xiaozheng had doubts in his heart, Qin Wan'er had already said so he couldn't continue to be stubborn. Now that Wen Xiao had abandoned the car and escaped, the task of the SWAT team was even more difficult. After all, this guy still had explosives on him that could blow up a small building. Qin Wan'er ordered the police to put all their energy into the pursuit of Wen Xiao today. The SWAT team was the first to rush to the scene. However, other than the car that was left behind, there were no other clues. No one saw where Wen Xiao went after abandoning the car. The SWAT team could only split into several teams to track him down. What happened at Xinkai Hotel quickly spread to Zhang Guoping and Zheng Yun's ears. Zheng Yun was quite glad that this didn't happen to him. He thought about it and was quite scared. If Wen Xiao had taken him hostage while he was investigating Xinkai Hotel, he would probably have been scared to death. With Qin Wan'er's protection, Su Yun wasn't taken away for investigation. After all, he was still in disguise. If he was taken to the police station and seen through his disguise, it would more or less arouse people's suspicion. Fortunately, Wen Zhao's escape made everyone have no time to think about Su Yun. After all the police personnel left Xinkai Hotel, Su Yun and Yi Fala finally breathed a sigh of relief. Although Wen Zhao's current situation was confusing and his future days would definitely be difficult because of this, it was still a few hundred times better than the result of being caught. Yi Fala followed Su Yun to his room and lay heavily on the big bed in the room. He sighed and exclaimed, I haven't been so nervous for many years. Just now I was really scared to death. So many SWAT officers came at once. I was really afraid that Wen Xiao couldn't escape. Didn't the police come already? Su Yun was also a little puzzled. Why did Qin Wan'er bring people again? This time it's really a little too much. They really want to force Wen Xiao to the rhythm of Liangshan. Yeah. I'm afraid he can't stay in the hotel now. Do you think he'll stay under the bridge or at the station? Yi Fala was in a good mood to joke. Su Yun rubbed his chin. I don't think it's a train station. There are so many people at the train station. What if they recognize us? Besides, there are too many armed police officers at the station. That's not necessarily true. With so many explosives on your body, it'll be very intimidating to go to the train station. Yefala smiled. Even if you're seen, no one will dare to do anything. Su Yun knew a lot about Wen Xiao. He knew that Wen Xiao had a lot of ideas, and he was a very careful person. Therefore, he didn't believe that Wen Xiao would tie so many explosives to himself. If the explosives were real, he wouldn't have kidnapped Qin Wan'er. So even if no one told Su Yun could guess that the explosives on Wen Zhao's body were just a disguise. I think that Captain Xiaozheng of the SWAT team isn't someone to be trifled with. He's probably starting to doubt the authenticity of the explosives on Wen Zhao's body. Yi Fala shrugged his shoulders. Xiaozheng is indeed a smart person. I have fought with him before, and he is indeed very powerful. His brain works very quickly, and he always analyzes things from many sides. He really isn't a simple person. He almost exposed me. Su Yun said. He took me down on the spot and said that I was Wen Zhao's backup outside. That's not simple. Yi Fala was quite shocked. She didn't see that scene. Then why did he let you go? Wen'er directly said that if I was Wen Zhao's accomplice, then she was also Wen Zhao's accomplice. You were also Wen Zhao's accomplice. Everyone who had contact with Wen Xiao was also Wen Zhao's accomplice. Su Yin said. Although Xiaozheng will suspect me, he can't suspect everyone. He probably didn't think that it would be so complicated. That's why he hesitated. Yi Fala stuck out her tongue. Qin Wen'er was really bold. She dared to directly admit everything. If Xiaozheng really suspected them, then they really wouldn't be able to clean up the mess. It's a good thing that I have the two of you to help me. Otherwise, if I was alone, I would only be a hindrance. Su Yin faintly smiled. The commotion was too big. It completely exceeded my imagination. However, this should be a good opportunity for Wen Xiao. Yi Fala also nodded. She also thought that this was a good opportunity. One who survives a great disaster is bound to have good fortune in the future. Even so, he still can't be stopped. I feel that he will be able to enter the Jutsai Corporation very soon. Su Yin said. It's not early anymore. You have worked hard for the day. Rest early. Yi Fala said. Is there anything else that I can help with? For example, giving me a back rub. Su Yin joked. Then you should rest early too. I think that when the police come back to their senses tomorrow, they will still come to interrogate us. Yi Fala rolled her eyes at Su Yin. Then we really can't rest early. Let's match our words. If your crow's beak is really right and the police really come to interrogate us tomorrow, our statements must be unified. That makes sense. Su Yin touched his chin. He really needed to match his words. Although many people thought that Qin Wen'er was frightened today and needed a good rest. She was not suitable to continue the mission, but Qin Wen'er insisted on staying on the front line. She had no choice. If she couldn't confirm with her own eyes that Wen Xiao had really escaped, she would really be restless. This mission was really too difficult. Qin Wen'er really couldn't believe that she could actually complete such a hidden mission. Wen Xiao, you should run quickly. Quickly let the people of the Jutsai Corporation help you hide. If there was another direct contact like this, Qin Wen'er really didn't know what else she could do. The police's actions overnight made the entire Xinjiang boil. Almost everyone's WeChat moments were related to Wen Zhao's matter. There were people at the scene who took pictures of the special police. Xinkai Hotel became the topic of everyone's conversation overnight. As long as there was a topic related to Wen Xiao, there would always be countless people replying below. There were countless people discussing this matter. Wen Xiao tied explosives to himself and held the director hostage. One person bravely fought against the special police team. There was an endless stream of topics. Of course, this matter also spread to the ears of the Jutsai Corporation. Yi Wenguang, who had always admired Wen Xiao, was very excited. He really admired Wen Xiao. One person was able to break through the special police team's encirclement. This was simply something that no one dared to think of. One must know that the special police team's captain Xiaozheng was not a person to be trifled with. For so many years, there were many vicious people who couldn't escape from his hands. But for those who were surrounded by his team, none of them could escape. Wen Xiao was the only one. This proved that Wen Zhao's ability was simply incomparable. With such a talent, who could say that he made an error in judgment? Yi Wenguang believed in his own eyes. He believed that he was absolutely not wrong. This person was the capable helper they were looking for. He absolutely wouldn't allow such a talent to miss out on the Jutsai Corporation. Yi Wenxing, who also knew about this matter, was very shocked. Wen Xiao had also undergone an earth-shaking change in his impression. He was indeed a capable person. No wonder his second brother was so excited to bring him under the Jutsai Corporation. But he was also very clear that they would face a problem. With such a capable person, why would he be willing to be under the Jutsai Corporation? Why? Who could control such a person? This was a very serious problem for Yi Wenxing. Yi Wenguang and Yi Wenxing both had things on their minds and couldn't sleep. They felt that it was necessary to contact their boss and discuss this matter properly. At this time, both of them received a text message from their boss, Yi Wenyang. He asked them to immediately gather at his house in the center of Xinjiang City. He had something to discuss. Both of them were very clear that this matter must have alarmed their big brother. In these years, there weren't many things that could alarm their big brother. Wen Xiao really had a lot of face. Although the three brothers of the Jutsai Corporation usually worked together, they had never lived together. Of course, they had their own reasons for doing so. With their high-risk crime industry, if the police found evidence to arrest them, living together was equivalent to giving the police a chance to catch all of them in one fell swoop. Yi Wenguang and Yi Wenxing quickly put on their clothes and drove directly to their big brother's house in the city center. Chapter 1965. This was definitely a late-night meeting between the leaders of the Jutsai group for many years. It could be seen that Yi Wenyang was also very nervous about Wen Zhao's matter. As a person who had experienced too many storms over the years, it was obviously impossible for him to be nervous because of a person who caused a panic in the city. His nervousness was entirely because of Wen Xiao. That's right, Yi Wenyang's interest in Wen Xiao was sudden. From the moment he heard that the city leader had given the Xinjiang police an order to capture the suspect within 10 days, he had developed a strong interest in Wen Xiao. He wanted to see how long Wen Xiao could last, because he knew that this operation was not only mobilized in one direction. The criminal police team, the special police team, the armed police. As long as the unit had the right to arrest, they were all mobilized. This arrest operation was unprecedented in Xinjiang City. Yi Wenyang was very emotional. He believed that such an arrest operation would eventually be successful. Don't treat the police as idiots. This was a sentence that Yi Wenyang had always said to his two brothers and all the real core members of the Jutsai group. He always believed in the ability of the police. Therefore, no one could escape from such an intense arrest for 3 days. This was Yi Wenyang's intuition. Although it was only intuition, Yi Wenyang believed in his intuition. His strong intuition had always been very accurate. This was his intuition judgment after careful consideration from many aspects. It was not without reason. Therefore, as long as the police couldn't find any clues about Wen Xiao in 3 days, it obviously meant that there was something wrong with Wen Xiao. This was also Yi Wenyang's intuition. He didn't know why he analyzed it, but he was sure of his own thoughts. However, this high-intensity search found the hotel where Wen Xiao was hiding on the first day and directly caused such a big commotion. It was really far beyond Yi Wenyang's imagination. Wen Xiao was still able to escape under the situation of 3 special police teams surrounding the hotel. This was also completely beyond Yi Wenyang's expectations. The police tracked him down so quickly and mobilized a large number of special police to surround him. This showed that the police were eager to catch Wen Xiao. This was reasonable. Wen Xiao could find an opportunity to escape from such a high-intensity arrest. How strong was his personal ability and courage? To be able to tie a large number of explosives to himself. This courage was definitely not something an ordinary person could do. Yi Wenyang believed that a person who once had the ability to pull together a mercenary team in Southeast Asia would have such courage. This kind of extraordinary courage and insight could only be cultivated in a pile of corpses. Soon, Yi Wenguang and Yi Wenxing arrived at the house. They stopped the car at almost the same time. When the two of them took the elevator upstairs, Yi Wenyang was smoking alone in the living room. These 2 people were his younger brothers, so he didn't need to be polite. He just threw the cigarette to Yi Wenxing and turned around to sit on the sofa. Yi Wenxing took out a cigarette and gave one to his second brother. He lit it for him, then took a few puffs himself. I'm sure everyone has heard about it. It's such an uproar. Yi Wenyang said indifferently. Wen Xiao, this guy is really not simple. Big brother, did our people give you any news? Yi Wenguang asked cautiously. He knew very well that what he and Lao San had heard and known was only superficial. What Big Brother knew was definitely the most accurate information given by the people arranged by the police. Yi Wenyang nodded. Wen Xiao has already escaped. The special police are doing their best to search for him. The operation this time was very strong and very sudden. Even so, Wen Xiao was able to escape. Looks like the police are going to be criticized again. Yuanxing took a deep puff of the cigarette in his hand and sighed. Big brother, this Wen Xiao is really amazing. He can even escape like this. I heard that he tied explosives to his body. Yi Wenyang nodded. This is one of his courage and insight. It is also his preparation to fight to the death. It looks like he is very clear about his fate. If he can't escape, only death will await him. He doesn't have a third choice. He definitely won't be arrested. Big brother, Shenjiang is only so big. If the police can find him once, they can definitely find him a second time. Yi Wenguang said. I never thought that the Shenjiang police would be so efficient. With just one sentence from the city's leader, they would lose their jobs if they couldn't catch the culprit. That night, they blocked the culprit. Second brother, this is why I always tell you not to treat the police as idiots. Yi Wenyang said. If the police want to do something, they will achieve their goal very quickly. The reason is very simple. They have the power to enforce the law. They have a professional advantage in everything they do. It's just that their efficiency is beyond my expectations. I thought they would need at least 2 to 3 days. This has to do with Wen Zhao's self-confidence. He actually dared to stay in a hotel in the city center. This is also something I didn't expect. After hearing about Wen Xiao, Yi Wenguang couldn't help but sigh. Yes, this person is really quite bold. I'm not surprised that he dared to stay in a hotel in the city center. He is already wanted, but he still dared to come to Heavenly Palace 1 for a sauna. This is what shocked me. How big of a heart does he have to have such courage? Perhaps his self-confidence has already exceeded a certain level. It is more suitable to use the word conceited to describe him. Yi Wenyang had always been very accurate in judging people. If he were to analyze a person, he would definitely consider his experience, his mentality, and his various aspects. He must have experienced countless big and small wars in Southeast Asia. Countless life and death situations have happened around him. He has the right to be conceited. Yi Wenxing quickly took out the cigarette in his hand and put it out in the ashtray. Big brother, where do you think this guy is now? Can we really make him work for us? Yi Wenyang was silent for a while. He had been thinking about these two questions. Where would Wen Xiao go? If they helped Wen Xiao, would Wen Xiao agree to work with them? These were all unknowns. It was a problem that gave him a headache. If Big Brother already knew, he wouldn't have asked you to come here. He would have asked us to find him long ago. Yi Wenguang understood his boss's thoughts. Big Brother, as long as you are sure this person is useful, then we will start looking for him now. We must find him before the police find him. The police won't give him a second chance to escape. Yi Wenyang nodded. This was indeed what he wanted to say. It's just that I'm afraid it will be very difficult. The police have so many people searching for him. They have too much of an advantage over us. What method do you think we should use to find him as soon as possible? This problem really made the three of them feel awkward. If Yi Wenyang hadn't encountered such a difficult problem, he really didn't want to call the two of them to his house in the middle of the night to stare at each other. But now that the problem was in front of them, if they could think of a good idea, then they could get a capable person. If they couldn't, then they could only give up. That night, Yuanxing didn't know how many cigarettes he smoked. His throat was bubbling, but he still didn't have any good ideas. In the end, he collapsed and directly gave up. Big brother, second brother. Think about it. I really don't have enough brains to think about it. If we can't find this person, then we can't find him. Anyway, without him, Jutsai Group will still operate. Old San, your thinking is too simple. The police have always wanted to get something on us. If we can have such a capable assistant, we will get a lot of benefits. Yi Wenguang didn't want to give up. This person is really important to us. Although we won't immediately feel any loss without him, if we can have him, the benefits we get in the future will definitely make you regret everything you've done today. But my brain really can't take it anymore. I really feel like my head is going to explode. Yi Wenxing was the one who didn't like to use his brain the most among the three brothers. It was already very difficult for him to sit for so long. Yi Wenyang understood his brother, and knew that his collapse wasn't fake. Old San, go wash your face and calm down. Big brother. Yi Wenxing had no choice but to listen to his big brother's arrangement. Guang looked at Yang expectantly. Now that the sky outside is almost bright, I don't know if the boss already has a good idea? He was really struggling with his brain. He couldn't guess Wen Zhao's thoughts at all. He couldn't figure out where such a person would hide now. The two brothers, Yang and Guang, looked at each other. They both understood that each other had tried their best and smiled helplessly. Guang lit a cigarette for his big brother, but he didn't light the cigarette in his mouth. His mind was blank. Wen Zhao, how good would it be if he could leave his contact information that day? But when he thought about it, even if Wen Zhao left his contact information, Wen Zhao wouldn't believe him if he contacted him now, right? There was really nothing he could do. Chapter 1966. This night was definitely Wen Zhao's toughest night ever since he returned to Huaxia. The tense atmosphere made him feel even more nervous than when he was facing life and death every day outside the country. This was because this was not only related to his worthless life, but also related to the success or failure of an important mission. There was absolutely no room for mistakes in this mission. Wen Zhao had to live up to the chief's trust in him. If he couldn't even complete such a small task, how could he still have the face to go back? How could he still have the face to apply for Dragon Fury Team to accept him again? At that time, even he would look down on himself. He had to complete the mission. He had to protect himself. Wen Zhao abandoned the car and fled with extreme caution. He didn't dare to walk on the main road at all. There were police patrol cars and special forces search vehicles everywhere. The number of helicopters in the sky had also increased from 1 to 3. The police were also very clear that if they didn't take advantage of the situation to pursue him today, as long as he found a place to hide again, everything would have to start from the beginning. Everything today would be equivalent to wasting their efforts. Therefore, both sides did their best to fight for every minute and second of tonight. Wen Zhao was very clear that with this kind of search, it would be very difficult to not be discovered. He couldn't even count the number of public security surveillance devices in the entire Xinjiang city. He could hide from people, but it was difficult to say that he could hide from every single surveillance device. He could only do his best to avoid them. Although the night was the best cover, Wen Zhao didn't dare to go too far this night. After all, he was also a qualified Special Forces soldier of the Dragon Fury Team. He had participated in more intense search operations than this. He knew what kind of mentality the hunter had. Perhaps it was this kind of knowing oneself and knowing one's enemy that allowed Wen Zhao to make the right decision. He couldn't continue to run. The further he ran, the more clues he would leave behind. He couldn't take care of many aspects. This was very normal. Therefore, what he had to do was to evaporate and directly make himself disappear on the spot. This kind of disappearance would prevent the police from following the vine to find the melon. This would also put a lot of psychological pressure on the opponent, and the advantage would naturally fall to him. After Wen Zhao abandoned the car, he did not walk too far. He chose the path with the least surveillance and carefully avoided all the cameras. When he reached the riverbank of Xinjiang, he sneaked into the water when there was no one around. He chose to hide in the river. Once there was danger, Wen Zhao would dive. His swimming ability could be said to be very good. Holding his breath was not a big problem for him. Just like that, he avoided the heavy search of the special police. Moreover, there was another benefit to being in the river. Even infrared thermal detection equipment would not be able to detect people, because the temperature of the river would also solve the problem of Wen Zhao's body temperature. Wen Zhao was not overthinking this. He was clear about the current level of technological development. As long as it was past midnight, the helicopter could use this infrared temperature detector to explore a large area of hiding places. Regardless of whether the Xinjiang police would do this or not, he felt that it was better to be prepared. Since he had already considered it, he had to be careful. Although the night was hard to endure, Wen Zhao persevered. As long as he could get through today, everything could start anew. The police were humans too. It was impossible for them to continuously search for him without eating or drinking. After this crazy night, when the sun rose in the morning, the birds chirped and the fragrance of flowers accompanied the people into a brand new day. Xinjiang had indeed calmed down. Although there were still police cars on the road from time to time, compared to yesterday's all-encompassing search, the pressure on Wen Xiao was much less. The city leader was very dissatisfied with last night's operation. Early in the morning, he went straight to the station and gathered all the people in charge of yesterday's operation. The person has already been surrounded. You actually let him escape. You guys are really trash. The city leader did not think about the tense situation yesterday. What he wanted was the result. Only the result. Qin Wan'er did not say a word. She was still rejoicing. Although Wen Xiao had successfully escaped yesterday, whether or not he would be found had always been a knot in her heart. It was only until today's large-scale search that she could finally let out a sigh of relief. Xiaozheng, tell me, how do you want to explain this to me? The city leader was very dissatisfied with the special police team's performance yesterday. Perhaps it was because Xiaozheng had never failed in his previous missions, so the city leader was very disappointed. I don't have anything to explain. It is my responsibility. I hope the leader can give me a chance. I will definitely seize the opportunity and try to avoid the next failure. Xiaozheng would never escape from his responsibility, nor would he shirk his responsibility. This was also the reason why he could become the captain of the special police team. The city leader's anger was still not extinguished. He pointed at Xiaozheng and roared. Try to avoid the next failure. Do you still want to have a next time? If there is a next time, you will take off your police uniform and get out of here. What do I want you to do? You are the one who solves the problem, not the one who caused the problem. Seeing Xiaozheng being scolded by the city leader, although everyone did not feel good, no one dared to open their mouths. Zhang Guoping wanted to speak a few times, but stopped. He understood the leader's thoughts too well. He knew that explaining was meaningless, so he chose to remain silent. Qin Wan'er felt very sorry in her heart, because this result was caused by her. Now that Xiaozheng was being scolded, she felt very uncomfortable. Leader, in fact, this matter is not Xiaozheng's fault. He was also thinking for me. Qin Wan'er finally could not bear it and suddenly stood up. This was too sudden and gave the city leader a fright. Good. Tell me, he was thinking for you? What was he thinking about? I told you to capture people. What was he thinking about? It was because of my carelessness that I was controlled by Wen Xiao. Wen Xiao had a lot of explosives on him. If I forcefully took action, it would cause an explosion. Qin Wan'er clearly said, if I was not controlled by Wen Xiao, perhaps I would have already. Everyone knew that Qin Wan'er was taking responsibility for herself. In fact, even if she was not controlled, Wen Xiao could have casually taken a hostage. With so many explosives on him, no one would have dared to act rashly. This is your explanation. The city leader slammed the table. Don't make so many excuses. A failure is a failure. You were caught and you have no chance? Haven't there been cases of criminals taking hostages before? Why could it be solved before, but not this time? Qin Wan'er was willing to endure this scolding. This was much better than Xiaozheng taking the scolding for her. Seeing Qin Wan'er being scolded, Zheng Yun's heart was still quite happy. He thought to himself, didn't you want to steal the credit from me? Steal it. Now you've stolen it, right? Ha ha ha. It seems that Zhang Guoping is more tactful. He knows what can't be touched. If he had not listened to Zhang Guoping, wouldn't he be the one being scolded now? Thinking of this, Zheng Yun could not help but smile. Who could understand how happy he was? Perhaps no one would be able to understand it. After the two of them were scolded one after another, the city leader's anger had mostly dissipated. Originally, he didn't want to be angry anymore, but when he saw Zheng Yun secretly laughing, his anger was ignited again. Zheng Yun, stand up. Zheng Yun was dumbfounded at that moment. This sudden angry rebuke really caught him off guard. Zheng Yun stood up and looked at the city leader with a blank face. What are you doing as a leader? Did I let you sit in your position for nothing? The city leader glared at him fiercely. Didn't you search Xinkai Hotel before? When Xiao was inside. How did you search? Do you know what the situation is now? You're still looking around? Who are you putting on an act for? Zheng Yun lowered his head. This was really F*** King unreasonable. He really did not know if the city leader ate gunpowder in the morning. Could it be that Wen Xiao was not checked in after he searched? Of course, Zhang Yun could only think these words in his heart. He really did not have the courage to say it out loud. Rice buckets. All of you are rice buckets. The city leader could not accept the loss of a good situation. Scolding people might be the best way he could think of to vent his anger. After all, he was also under a lot of pressure. The instructions given by the higher-ups were too clear. This was a fugitive who had national secrets. If he escaped from Xinjiang under his nose, then his career in this life would be over. Not to mention a promotion. Whether or not he could keep his black hat on his head was a very serious problem. After finally calming down, the city leader was even more aware of the seriousness of the matter. The coastal area. The coastal area must be guarded. We must not let Wen Xiao escape from the surface to the high seas. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. From the 3 times he said absolutely, it could be seen that he placed absolute importance on this point. Because as long as Wen Xiao escaped from the territorial waters, it was equivalent to leaving the country. Then national secrets would be leaked. Chapter 1967. Everyone at the scene stood up and made a military pledge. They would never let Wen Xiao escape from Xinjiang, let alone the international waters. Now the armed police in charge of the blockade had a much bigger task. Fortunately, the coast police gave them enough support. They patrolled the entire sea area 24 hours a day without stopping. Qin Wan'er knew in her heart that it was useless, but she didn't dare to say it. In fact, there were benefits to attracting all the attention to the coastline. At least it would make Wen Xiao, who was hiding in the city, safer. She didn't know how Wen Xiao was doing now, so Qin Wan'er was still a little worried. Losing a place like Xingkai Hotel to hide, Wen Xiao's days would be much harder. Okay, I won't talk nonsense with you guys. Now listen to me clearly. All of you have to tighten up the tendons in your brains. Tighten up. The city leader pointed at his temple. Think carefully about what you are going to do next. Do you understand? Understood. Everyone said. Dismissed. Everyone get back to work. Zhang Yun. Especially you. The city leader finally scolded Zhang Yun. If you can't catch him in 10 days, I will be the first to fire you. Do you understand me now? Although Zhang Yun was unhappy, he still said very seriously, yes. I promise to complete the mission. I will do my best. He was definitely not going to waste his time here. Thank you for believing in me and giving me this opportunity to make up for my mistakes. If you really do make up for it, then we can talk about making up for your mistakes. The city leader threw down the last sentence. All of you here, remember the mistakes you have made. Finally, the scolding came to an end. The departure of the city leader made everyone feel pressured. Qin Wan'er looked out of the window blankly. She didn't know what to do next. She really didn't know how to plan. Xiao Zheng's ability to withstand pressure was probably the greatest out of everyone present. Although he had been scolded, he still had to do what he had to do. He gave himself an encouraging smile, and also gave this smile to all his colleagues. Everyone cheer up. We still have time and opportunities. You didn't even get such a good opportunity, and you still want to get such an opportunity. Zhang Yun was in a bad mood. If the culprit had been caught, he wouldn't have been scolded. He vented all of his anger on Xiao Zheng and Qin Wan'er. He felt that it was because the two of them were useless that he was scolded. Xiao Zheng knew that everyone was under a lot of pressure, so he didn't say anything. He began to think about the next step of the plan. However, Zhang Yun was still unforgiving. Who the F***ck did I offend? I wasn't the one who let them go yesterday. If I had been there, maybe this matter would have been resolved. Why should I be scolded? Am I not wronged? Scold whoever is responsible. Qin Wan'er originally didn't want to say anything, but Zhang Yun's attitude really annoyed her. Zhang Yun, what do you mean? It was your dereliction of duty that you did not participate in the operation. It's also your negligence that you didn't find Wen Xiao. Now that he's gone, you're saying that I let him go. Xiao Zheng let them go. You know who let him go. Zheng Yin was about to shed all pretense of cordiality. Zhang Guoping quickly stood up to mediate. Stop messing around. Everyone is under pressure. Let's understand each other. It's really not anyone's fault. It's just that Wen Xiao is too hard to deal with. Xiaozheng nodded and silently agreed with Zhang Guoping's words. He was too hard to deal with. If Wen Xiao didn't think of tying explosives all over his body, he would have been shot dead yesterday. If it wasn't hard to deal with, would they still need the special police team to deal with it? Give them the best equipment, the best treatment, the best benefits. Isn't it to let them deal with difficult matters? Zheng Yin said. If they can't deal with it, then say it's hard? Then what do you want them to do? Qin Wan'er would feel very apologetic whenever the spearhead was pointed at Xiaozheng. Zheng Yin, have you said enough? If you can do it, then do it. Did I say you? Zheng Yin wasn't afraid of Qin Wan'er's temper. I'm not a special police team. What do I have to do? All right. If you have the strength, then go and catch him. Don't waste it on arguing with your own people. Zhang Guoping was angry. What are you arguing about? You have a lot of time, right? There are still 9 days, right? Go and do your work. After all, he was old. Zhang Guoping still had some face. Once Zheng Yin shut up, the others really didn't have anything to argue about. Chief Qin, I will definitely make up for my mistake. Xiaozheng put on his hat and gloves and said lightly. Please believe in me and my team. We will definitely bring Wen Xiao to justice. Qin Wan'er's heart was beating like a drum. She really didn't want him to bring Wen Xiao to justice. The responsibility of this matter isn't on you, it's on me. Don't feel pressured. I'm fine. No problem. Xiaozheng finished and saluted. Our special police team will immediately start the search and capture plan. We'll go first. After saying goodbye to Xiaozheng, Qin Wan'er also left the meeting room. Of course, she also wanted to think about where Wen Xiao might have gone. However, she was different from others. She wanted to try her best to avoid going to places where Wen Xiao might appear. Zhang Guoping sighed heavily. This matter was really F***king hard to deal with. How did he end up with such a job? Chief Zhang, I'm going out. Zheng Yin stood up and said. I need to investigate this matter properly. No one would have thought that Zheng Yin actually went to Xingkai Hotel to cause trouble. He had to question Yi Fala. Why didn't she let him investigate that day? And after Qin Wan'er went, she even cooperated with him. He had to ruthlessly cause trouble for Yi Fala. When Yi Fala woke up this morning, she had a premonition that there would be people from the police. When Zheng Yin arrived, she really felt that last night's conversation was right. Unfortunately, she guessed the beginning correctly but not the end. Zheng Yin didn't come to ask her questions, but to question her. Yi Fala, what do you mean? Zheng Yin's first sentence made Yi Fala a little confused. Are you playing with me? Fine, you're really something. Yi Fala didn't understand. Chief Zheng, what do you mean? How would I dare to play with you? Then when I came to investigate, why didn't you say that there was a suspicious person? Zheng Yin angrily rebuked. You just want to give this credit to Qin Wan'er, right? Fine, you're really something. You're all joining hands to deal with me, right? Good, very good, very good. Yi Fala said helplessly. Chief Zheng, look at what you're saying. I didn't think so much. I didn't think that Wen Xiao was suspicious before. I only felt suspicious the next day. So when you came, I really didn't have the intention to play with you. Don't explain. Zheng Yin said. I'm telling you, Yi Fala, don't think that this is over. I'm asking you now. Why did Wen Xiao choose your hotel when he arrived in Xinjiang? Is there any other relationship between you and him? If you can't explain it clearly, then don't blame me for arresting you. When Yi Fala heard that Zheng Yin had turned hostile, he also put on a stern face. Chief Zheng, don't abuse your power. Fine, if you want to listen to me, then bring me back for interrogation. But before that, at least let me see your arrest document. If the police need me to cooperate with their work, I will definitely cooperate. But if you want to use your power to avenge a private grudge, then don't blame me for not cooperating. You dare to go against me? Zheng Yin looked at Yi Fala with an expression of disbelief. Yi Fala had always been very polite to the police. Yifala sneered. Chief Zheng, I can give you face, but I also want to remind you. Don't forget my identity. Xinjiang Black Widow isn't someone that anyone can bully. If you want me to give you face, then show me your basic respect. Otherwise, don't blame me for falling out with you. You. Zheng Yun was actually blocked to the point that he couldn't say a word. Only now did he understand what it meant to ask for humiliation. That's right, Xinjiang Black Widow wasn't someone that anyone could provoke. Even Zheng Yun didn't dare to provoke her. Who knows what kind of methods she would use to deal with you. After all, she Yifala wasn't a kind person. Chapter 1968. Chief Zheng, I have a little understanding of your situation and background. Don't think that you can do anything to me just because you have a little background. I, Yifala, will tell you clearly that I really don't put you in my eyes. Yifala's words were really hurtful. Zheng Yun had nothing to say. He pointed at Yifala fiercely. Okay, let's wait and see. Sooner or later, I will make you pay for what you've said. Wait until you can really be promoted to chief before you challenge me. Right now, you don't have the qualifications to be on equal footing with me. Yifala said disapprovingly. Oh right, I forgot. With Wanner here, you might not even have a chance. Coward, think of a way to catch Wen Xiao. I admire you. Catch Wen Xiao? Zheng Yun wasn't that stupid. Yifala, do you think I'm stupid? I definitely won't catch someone like Wen Xiao. I'm not as stupid as Qin Wan'er to play with my life. Haha, you want me to die? Not a chance. That's why I said you're a coward. Yifala didn't care about falling out with Zheng Yun. A person like Zheng Yun couldn't affect her much. He didn't have the right to speak. Moreover, Yifala trusted Qin Wan'er very much. She believed that Qin Wan'er's position would be promoted sooner or later. Therefore, Zheng Yun was really nothing to Yifala. Zheng Yun couldn't touch Yifala now. The only thing he was sure of was that as long as he didn't force Yifala into a corner, Yifala wouldn't do anything out of line to him. After all, Yifala was still guilty. This was definitely her weakness. How do you know if I'm a coward? You haven't slept with me. Zheng Yun took advantage of her with his words and said disapprovingly, Why don't you sleep with me once and see if I'm a coward? Maybe I'm harder than you think. What kind of man hadn't Yifala seen before? There were many people who were more shameless than Zheng Yun. Yifala couldn't be more clear about this kind of person. People with cheap mouths all had a common characteristic. They didn't have much ability and didn't dare to do anything to you. Therefore, they could only use their mouths to satisfy their cravings. This was especially true for those whose pockets were cleaner than their faces. They were the type who loved to talk. Although Zheng Yun wasn't the kind of person whose pockets were cleaner than his face, compared to Yifala, he was basically that kind of person. Do you think I'm the kind of person who would sleep with a softie? Yefra said disdainfully, If you need it, I can recommend you to a professional andrologist. Maybe he can treat you. I understand your inferiority complex. You don't have to explain. Zheng Yun, who couldn't outtalk Yifala, couldn't help but feel anxious. Yifala pointed at the surveillance camera in his hotel. If you want to make a move, it's fine. A man who hits a woman is even more cowardly. Police beating people up can spread very big news right now. Chief Zheng, think carefully before you act. Yifala stood provocatively in front of Zheng Yun. She really didn't believe that Zheng Bin would dare to slap her. Zheng Yun really didn't have the guts. After being scolded by the city leaders at the station, he wanted to come here to relieve his emotions. He wanted to vent the nameless anger in his heart. However, he didn't expect to provoke a bellyful of anger. Zheng Yun was really a good-for-nothing. Take care, I won't send you off. Yifala smiled slightly and waved her hand to leave. Looking at Zheng Yun's unhappy footsteps, she really didn't know who he should find to vent the anger in his heart. Wen Zhao's difficult days continued. His mind was in a mess. Although he escaped, how could he contact the people from the Jutsai group? How could he let the people from the Jutsai group find him? Moreover, he had to avoid the police. This had become his biggest problem now. Other than Tiangong No. 1, Wen Xiao didn't know where else he could go to contact the people from the Jutsai group. However, he had caused trouble at Tiangong number 1, and clearly rejected Yi Wenguang's invitation on the spot. Now that he took the initiative to send himself to the door, it was obviously too deliberate. Wen Xiao didn't know that the Jutsai group had already arranged for all the people that could be arranged. It was so that they could have another chance encounter with him in Xinjiang. However, in this big city with a population of tens of millions, it was simply too difficult to meet a person in the vast sea of people. When there was really no other way, Wen Xiao could only ask for help. The way to ask for help was to go online and find the post on the Tieba forum and reply to the topic with code words. Now, Wen Xiao couldn't contact anyone. If he was at the Xingkai Hotel, he could still use the room phone to find a way to contact Su Yun. Now he could only rely on himself. If he wanted to go online to ask for help, Wen Xiao had to wait until after midnight to book a room at the internet cafe. He didn't dare to show his face during the day. To him, hiding under the Shunjiang Bridge was the safest. If any crisis happened, he could jump into the river to temporarily avoid it. Fortunately, it was very quiet under the Shunjiang Bridge. After all, the river was turbulent here. No one would come to such a place to take the risk. This hidden place might be enough for Wen Xiao to hide for a day. However, good things didn't last long. At noon, Wen Xiao heard some strange sounds. He knew that someone had appeared. Just as he was about to jump into the river and leave, he heard a soft voice calling out, "Wen Xiao? Are you there?" Wen Xiao was overjoyed. Su Yun could actually find this place. This was really inconceivable to him. That's right, it was Su Yun. Wan Guangxiao didn't agree to Su Yun's request to assist Wen Xiao in completing this undercover mission. He didn't agree casually. He had analyzed it very carefully. He knew that the two of them understood each other too well. Su Yun understood Wen Xiao well enough. Therefore, he could analyze the problem from Wen Xiao's point of view. When he found out that Wen Xiao had abandoned the car and escaped yesterday, Su Yun had a premonition that Wen Xiao hadn't gone too far. With the current density of traffic and social security surveillance, it was impossible for anyone to escape without leaving a trace. The only explanation was that he hadn't left at all. Therefore, Su Yun woke up early this morning and went to the scene where Wen Xiao abandoned the car. After his analysis of the scene's surveillance, Su Yun roughly determined Wen Xiao's possible escape route. This was because this was the only route that wouldn't be captured by the surveillance cameras. This route was directly under the Shunjiang Bridge. If it were someone else, they would definitely think it was impossible. Because there was a river under the bridge, there was no escape route to that place. However, based on Su Yun's understanding of Wen Xiao, he knew that Wen Xiao was capable of doing such a thing. Wen Xiao was definitely capable of doing such a thing. Therefore, Su Yun slipped under the bridge when no one was paying attention. After a few soft calls, Wen Xiao appeared. "Boss, you even found this place." Wen Xiao let out a long sigh of relief. "If I told you to catch me, I wouldn't be able to escape from your hands even if I ran to the ends of the earth." Su Yun didn't feel relaxed because he found Wen Xiao. "If I can find you, the police will definitely find you too. You can't hide here for a long time. Now you must get in touch with the people from the Jutsai group as soon as possible." Wen Xiao frowned. "Boss, I really don't have any tricks up my sleeve. How can I meet the people from the Jutsai group?" "I'm here to give you some advice." Su Yun smiled. "Yi Fala told me about a place. It's a tea house under the Jutsai group. On the surface, they don't have any contact with them, but many of the Jutsai group's business deals are done face-to-face here. You can go to that place. Someone will definitely notice you." Wen Xiao was stunned. "I'm already like this, and I still want to drink tea? Isn't this too far-fetched?" "Of course, I'm not asking you to drink tea and relax. Su Yun, I'm asking you to discuss business with me." Wen Xiao suddenly realized. He finally realized how important it was to have Su Yun secretly help him. "Are we going to talk about the state-secret business in my hands?" Su Yun nodded. "It's just that I have to dress up again. That day at Tiangong number 1, their people seemed to want to get rid of me. I dealt with the two guys who came out with me." Wen Xiao didn't know about these things. He was slightly startled. "Can they not recognize you?" "That depends on their eyesight." "Su Yun, But I think we should take a gamble. After all, their attention will definitely be on you. I should have a chance here. Okay. I'll listen to you. When Xiao nodded, he finally didn't need to take the risk of going to the internet cafe to reply to the post for help. Su Yin told Wen Xiao the address of the tea house. The two agreed to meet at 10 o'clock in the evening. Then Su Yin left in a hurry. He hoped that the police wouldn't react so quickly and give Wen Xiao a little more time to hide. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.